Hey, I'm back! It's been forever! It's been a full-on 2 weeks, 3 weeks since I'm like away from ever appearing on camera for you guys. But hey, I can finally put myself on the screen again and give you all some good stream time. It's been a while since you've probably seen any YouTube video of mine as well, because I haven't been posting. But hey, it's time for some storytelling today, I would say. At least I'm back before the Il Siracusano event. I had a friend who messaged me while midway during my trip, and he was telling me, was I surprised to see that the JP livestream was not even done or completed by the time I came back to Singapore. And yeah, I was definitely surprised. So there's that. Thanks Sneaky Pater and Cookie Master. I look extra crispy. Do I look tanner? I am definitely tanner. After my time in Laos, I would say. Yeah, I kind of like am going back, but yeah, a little bit darker than before. Missed me? I missed everyone as well, because it's been absolutely forever since I can be here. Remember the time when I said I couldn't pull for Texas? Of course I remember. I remember stating that maybe Siracusano will happen in the middle of my time overseas, but turns out it didn't happen. So there's that. Oh wow, that's a celebratory 5 subs right there. Thanks Sneaky Peter. I appreciate it. I think you all probably triggered a hype train at this rate. If it still exists. And Nanashi, sorry. Nameless. Thanks also. Where's our souvenir? I don't have a souvenir per se. Although I can show something that I received. I think I received this gift before my trip. Let me see if I can find it.
Boy who dat?
Boy who that? Who said that? Oh, Taxi Ferrer. Thanks, and Obi Toven as well. Oh, I found it. It's in my cupboard. It's gonna take me a while because my mom actually placed it very nicely so that it doesn't like fall, that sort of thing. Oh my god. Okay. Let me give a bit of context. My mom rearranged, like, there's a cupboard beside my computer. So she rearranged the books and everything, and she dedicated like one compartment to my Arknights merchandise.
Cookie.
I just
Hope
realized
you
that.
enjoyed yourself. Cookie Platty love, Cookie Platty love.
Thanks,
Cookie
Heinz.
Platty
Oh,
love.
yeah, I just realized that. And now there's a certain item that is very deep in. It's something I received in my mail recently.
Good to see you back, Uncle Cookie Platty love. Hello Uncle, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed Laos.
Yeah! I got this in my mail. Thanks, Vanilla Ice. And Animitten as well. You are making it a really big hype train. I really feel so welcome back. Thank you. You are really giving it all. Thanks, Firewire also and Kings. Really, really appreciate it. Whatever that y'all give, I take it as the little gifts that I shall take to US, because literally in a month from now I'll be visiting the US. So those shall all go into spending a good time and converting into some stream content. Yeah, thanks Kings. So yeah, I received this. I'm not going to talk about it now. Let's talk about it when I do the Arknight stream later. But basically this is the... Was this the first anniversary? Or is it... No, this is the 3rd anniversary gift box. I didn't buy it. Yosta sent it to me as like an appreciation gift. And I've already opened like the art book. I was wondering if I should make a video about it, but I'm still in the midst of thinking whether I do. I've seen all the stuff, but I haven't opened like every product that's like inside. So yeah, we'll look at it later instead of now. Okay, let me just put it back in first. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about how things has been. Right? More appropriate to the stream. Oh my god, you all really sent the hype train to level 5. Jesus, I've not seen level 5 in a long time.
Hope everything
Thanks,
is good,
Philsey.
Uncle. Keep the good work.
You waiting for the artbook reset version. There is a reset version? Where can I put this? Put it here first. Alright. Okay. I think I can use like a phone angle in the setup. I feel so unprepared for this stream. Like,
Hope everything
I'm
is
supposed to
doing well,
chat
Uncle.
about the.
Excited to keep this going.
Thanks, Asian. And Vanilla Ice too. Oh, Vanilla Ice, you gave 10 before your own self. Damn, thank you.
Age 6 months.
Wait, Can someone call my phone? I'm finding my phone. Ah, you thought there was a way to get my phone number, yeah? No.
Anonymous just gifted.
Who is the anonymous one? Thank you. Yeah, I stationed my phone here because this will be like the camera for later on. If I can like do it somehow. Ah. Whew. Thanks, Shananom. Good to see you as well.
Welcome back, Uncle.
Okay, I feel like I'm
Really
missing
kiss you,
quite a bit
wah,
of the
wah,
chat.
wah.
It's been 3 months already. Welcome back. 3 months since you've watched me, Station? Is that what you meant? Or 3 months of subscription? Whichever it is, both are great. I'm back before Sir Kusano. Yes, I am. I was back since Saturday. It's already a Wednesday right now. So, yeah. I really do look darker now, don't I? Like, I'm looking at myself via the screen. I feel like I was not of this shade earlier. Yeah, Laos really put me in the grill. So, will I be here at the start of Il Sir Kusano? Yeah, I will. Thanks, Firewire. Again, for another one. I look like a cookie now. Like a really nice looking cookie, like an edible one. Am I gonna do viewer pools the moment it releases? When is the event again? 23rd, right? I have something on 24th, but I forgot what. But I should be able to attend the event. I don't remember what time is the thing I have on 24th. Am I meeting a friend? Why is 24th a date? I can't remember. No, wait, no, I kind of remember. Wait, let me see. But I will be streaming in that night, and I will do viewer pools that night. I might have to spread out the viewer pools though. As in, I won't do it one shot. Depending. I will let you all know. 24th. Let's see. Oh! I'm meeting my professor on 24th. Supposed to have like a dinner with my professor. Ah, okay. But that's at night. So yeah, I definitely... I mean, you know what? We should play Sir Kusano as full as we can. So probably I'll play from launch till like early morning when the sun rises. Maybe. Because that's also when IS3 drops, right? Who in the right mind in the Yostar office thought running IS3 and Sir Kusano is a good idea? That's the first time I see a hype train level 6 ever since the hype train got an update. What's the highest level of a hype train? 10 now? And no more 5? Thanks, Ditsec.
9 months. Cucky Goat, how do you name the baby?
Yeah, I still need to go and see. Oh my god, Ditsec. Is that another 10? Christ, how many you just give in one go?
Deed Segway
Oh,
just
thank
gifted
you.
10 subs.
Really, it's a lot. I appreciate it. There's no highest level now. Oh, there's no limit! Hot damn! Alright. Okay, so story, but I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to trying to get some stories for you guys, I don't know where to start, to be honest. Basically, the last time that I streamed was right before my travel to Laos. the way that I spent my time was that I did a second viewer gathering. So if you're unaware, especially for the people who are Singaporeans, I'm very open to meeting new people, really. And I've recently held, like, I won't call them fan gatherings, because I'm not that big of a person, okay? Not a huge streamer, not a huge YouTuber. I'm just chill, I love to go out, I love to meet people. So I hosted 2 lunches with people in the central area of Singapore, and it was very fun to have both of them. And I hope to do more. So especially if you're Singaporean, look forward, because I'll probably do like another 2 gatherings before I go to US. And then, and even better news is, my fellow Americans, I'm coming to your very country, alright? And I will be visiting US from the 23rd of June to 5th of July. So, if I will open up some meetings, and I will let you all know the date. Please keep me safe in US. I'm scared. It's a new environment for me. I've never been there before. I'll be visiting Los Angeles, so I'll be very excited to see you all when it happens. NIC, thank you. When am I coming to Philippines? When am I coming to Indonesia? If I wasn't going to Laos, I would have visited Indonesia, really. I have set my plans that the next country that I will go to is a Southeast Asian country after US. So I will let you all know which Southeast Asian country will be winning. It's either Malaysia, or it's Indonesia, or it's Philippines. Would it be Thailand? Maybe not this year. Maybe next year. We'll see. So there's that. I would want to visit Vietnam as well, but not this year. There is a chance I'll still visit one country this year. So I'll let you all know. But of course, if I visit a country, it will not just to be, you know, for like leisure and whatnot. I'll probably go when there's an event, like a convention that's being held in that country. So yeah, really a lot of subs. Thanks for all the hype train. I don't expect it to last all that long. It's quite a bit already. Level 7, really the highest that I've seen. Thank you. Am I going alone to the US? No, I'm not going alone to the US. I will be visiting the US with Zafang. If Zafang does not screw up his plans. Because he was supposed to go with me, but he gave me red alert warnings, you know. He's right here. He's probably right here to tell me he's in trouble. Oh, he checked yesterday. There, let's go. We're going together. Will I be going to US to visit Viper? Yes, I will. I will be going to US to visit quite a few of the American content creators. So it's gonna be exciting to see all of them in one place. Honestly, to be fair, we were hoping to meet at some point last year, but now it's gonna happen this year. Where is the stream deck? I still have it. I just never set it up properly. It's on my table. It's right here. I mean, my issue with the stream deck was that I don't have enough wiring space in order to do it, and I haven't played with the settings. But once I get to it, I'll have fun with this. I'll do some weird settings with this. So look forward. Thanks, Nekodai.
Balls.
The stream deck that we sponsored. Yeah, of course, it's thanks to you guys. The last time that we probably had a humongous hype train, and this is what reached this. So thank you. Would I visit Taiwan? If I visit Taiwan, it would be for my leisure actually. Not really to meet people, I would say. Like, I would love to visit Taiwan for, like, fun, you know, a vacation. But of course, if I do go there, maybe I'll take a day to, like, meet people who are there. So, yeah. Okay. Story time! Shall we talk about the past 2 weeks? So as I mentioned, I've been doing group gatherings, look forward to the next few ones, and then I spent a full 2 weeks plus in the country of
9
Laos
months, almost 1
for the
year, man.
first time
Hope
ever.
you are doing okay. Smile.
It's gonna be a lot to talk about actually in Laos, so I don't really know where to start. I think I need chat to guide me as to where to
Hi,
start.
Uncle.
So why don't we get with that? Help me for a while, you know. Tell me what you want to hear. What kind of stories you want to hear? You want to hear sweet, warm-hearted stories? You want to hear like the darker sides of the country? Story. Ooh, that's fun. Funny stories. I'm not very good at being funny. That comes naturally to me. So yeah. Why am I depressed? Why do I hate the world? Food. Food stories. Okay, that's a great one. You want some food? Why am I dark? Okay. Yeah, I can explain that. Wholesome stories. I can think of some. I don't think there's any spooky story, but let's see. Degeneracy. I maybe have something to say. Such a weird topic. Which one of you suggested this? What the frick is this topic? But I have an idea as to what I want to say. Tell us about the drinking incident. Alright. We lost the box too. How many mines did I find in Laos? What the hell? You're traveling around the world, but when do I come to Brazil? Brazil's gonna be very expensive. It's as expensive as US. Like, coming to US is already a rarity to me. You know, if I can be more, how do I describe? Successful, I guess, in this career of streaming or YouTubing, I would go to Brazil. But I need to earn more money in order for that to happen. Experiences between both countries. But I only went to one country. Are you asking me to compare Laos and Singapore? I'm gonna assume that's what you mean. Funny stories. I don't know if I have funny stories, really. Did I laugh a lot while I was there? No? Not really. I mean, I went there for community service. Was there any really weird interactions? I can think of one. Let's talk about massages. Any Arknight? Oh, I do have an Arknight story. How about sightseeing? Okay. Okay, is that all the questions? Architecture. I don't really have any architectural things I want to talk about. Okay, let's see. Food stories. I didn't get food poisoning while I was there, but I've known at least 4 people in my trip who got food poisoning while they were in Laos. I don't know what they ate wrong, honestly. Even they themselves don't know what they ate wrong. But the food there is generally okay. I'm not gonna lie. I remember visiting the market of Laos, but I don't think the market of Laos is any different from like a market in maybe say Thailand or Vietnam or Indonesia. Because compared to Singapore, our markets are like very controlled. Controlled in the sense where even before the meat goes on the chopping board, I feel like Singapore vets every single food. You know, they make sure that the food is safe to consume and everything. But in Laos, it's like straight fresh from the farm. You get what I mean? You know, direct transport, and it doesn't go through like a lab machine to see whether it's good or not. So, being there, I saw a lot of live animals. Okay, not live animals in the form of like a huge ass cow on in the marketplace or a pig. But I think it was the first time that I saw like a fully dissected pig in front of me. The smell's ridiculous. Really. I saw live frogs while I was there. It's quite disgusting. Because it's like... how do I explain this? They basically... It looks cruel, not gonna lie. But they use a stick to like stab through the frog's legs. So it's just one stick, and like that one stick has more than 10 frogs with their leg just stabbed through. And they're all alive. You know? It's like the first time that I see that in front of me. Live crabs aren't scary, but there were live crabs. I mean, you see that everywhere. Were there other live animals? I can't remember if I saw live insects. I don't think I did. It's just the food were very fresh, is what I would describe. You know, really never seen a market like that before. Would I go to such a market again? No. I like the supermarket. I mean, I did see the supermarkets that were there, and they were pretty decent. Although you do wonder how safe a supermarket food even is. In terms of like the restaurants, the places that I got to eat, like the stores, they were great. I had the absolute most jacked fried rice while I was there. What I mean by fried rice is okay, it's like, you know how we always make the jokes as to, oh, if you eat fried rice, you're gonna have MSG, right? But I feel like for the first time I've ate fried rice where someone poured the entire packet of MSG into the fried rice. It tastes like shit. It was so bad. It was the saltiest thing I've ever eaten. Yeah, it's like, you don't taste the rice, you don't taste the meat. The thing that you taste is the freaking MSG, and it's absolutely hard to take it. I mean, I finished it in the end, but like, I felt like I was about to give myself a heart attack from seeing that. There were some very good restaurant places that I got to visit. Oh, the night market was fun. I think it's the first time ever that I visit like a night market food court looking place. Like, yes, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Malaysia, but when I experience those night markets, it's like, you know, street food where maybe you go to like a vendor, you buy like small food and you eat that. But that was the first time that, you know, it was like a sit-down market. You buy a few dishes from a store, another store, you get some sticky rice, you get some skewers, some different meat grills, vegetables, and you put it all together. You know, it's kind of like eating hawker center food in Singapore, but it's the first time that, you know, I have that whole night market vibe. I've been to not just one night market, I've been to 2 night markets, and both were wonderful experiences. The second one was a bit scary to me because I remember visiting the second one when it was about to rain. So the moment that I was there, it actually started pouring so heavily, and my editor, one of my editor being Nagashima, he's from Philippines, and he time to time described to me about how his electricity will go off, or he might have like blackouts and whatnot. And I'm in Singapore, so I don't feel that in Singapore that much. But when I was in Laos, I'm like, oh, I get it now when he says it that way. Because the place that I was going to is like a little bit higher up, more in the mountains. So when I was in that market and it started raining, right, it's kind of scary looking because the entire city started flashing. Like, for a good 1 or 2 seconds, it turns off. All building lights shut, and then it turns back on, and then it flickers again. I'm like, is there a lightning strike that's about to happen? Because I don't know. I've never felt that before. It was quite sad that the second time that I went to the night market, that being like it was a much cooler place to be at. I wanted to experience their street stalls. You know, nice Akiwari. And Clockwork also, by the way, if I never got to thank you.
Welcome back.
But
Let's have a good event on Texas.
it was really the first time that I maybe got to experience like the kind of night market stores. But too bad, because of the rain, they all start to pack up their stores. So I didn't get to see like interesting clothing, interesting souvenir that I could get. Yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed the food in Laos, I would say. I thought it was going to be very bad, but I didn't feel that it was very unfamiliar to me. I still felt like home. I think Asian food tend to not be very different, I would
Hope
say.
you had fun.
It's kind of like how Malaysia and Singapore always compete with like chicken rice, right? But then again, it's the same food. It's still chicken rice, only a little bit different tasting. Laos has a lot of import food, also I would describe. They have a lot of influence from Korea. So in fact, when I was there, I do see quite a few stores selling Korean food. And if I went to the more touristy regions, for example, Vientiane, that being their capital, and Luang Prabang, that being their touristy area, there were quite a bit of like Western stores, Korean stores, Japanese stores a bit less, but there were a tiny few. So I didn't feel very out of place when it came to food. The food was still great, and the prices were more sweeter in order to enjoy. I'm someone who eats mala. For my Asian friends, you will know what mala is, and I tend to eat mala stir fried. But over there, it was the first time that I had mala tang, basically mala soup, and I was so shocked at the price because I got. So when you have mala, right, it's basically a thing where you pick multiple ingredients, you put it into a bowl, and then the chef will like cook it for you, whether is it fried or in a soup form. I picked 11 ingredients, and then afterwards the food came back to me, and I paid for the food. And you know what's my biggest surprise? The price of the food was like 3 USD. And then I was like scratching my head because it was 11 ingredients. I picked 11 flipping ingredients and it was 3 USD. I was expecting to go to like 10 or something. Yeah. I mean, in terms of like being a Singaporean visiting Laos, not gonna lie, yeah, the prices is a lot sweeter. So it's really good to be comfortable there, I suppose. But of course, I feel for the Laos people because while I was there, I also got to speak to the locals. I asked them about the way that they work, the amount of money that they earn. It's definitely incomparable to like other countries. So to maybe like the tourists, whatever that we experience there could be low prices, but then for a local that's not good. A local is not tending to eat out in a way. So yeah. I think that's pretty much most that I will say about food, If I were to describe, can I like live without Singapore food and like eat in Laos for maybe a whole month or 6 months? Yeah, sure. I think I totally can because it's comfy. And okay, when I first approached Laos, I thought of Laos as a more rural place. It definitely has that feel, but I was thinking like very, very, very rural. But it didn't feel that way. It actually Laos felt pretty modern. Even the school that I was going to do my community service, that was in the region of Odomsai. And yes, the houses, were a bit not as nice looking in a way. The stores were a little more like open air and everything, but it was still enjoyable. Like I felt peaceful, really, while I was in that region of Laos. So yeah, that's all I'll mention about food, unless you all got more questions about it. Now, the next story that you all asked me to go for. Why am I dark? I went to Laos thinking that I will never like be fearful of the sun. I never brought sunblock. I have sunblock right here. But I didn't get this sunblock from Singapore. I bought it in Laos. And the reason for that is that I always thought Singapore is going to be really, really hot. Because we live in, like, my country is at the equator of the earth, right? Where basically, that's where the sun is right above your head. So, I thought the heat would be a lot nicer. But yeah, it wasn't. truly understand the meaning of the sun is a deadly laser. Once I was in Laos. You know, the moment when I first got down the plane of Laos, I was like, what the fuck is this? I felt like I was in a microwave. It was legitimately grilling. Like, I'm just 1 foot out of the plane. You know, and it already felt horrible. Because there wasn't good air conditioning anyways. At that point in time, I was told that the temperature was 42 degrees Celsius. Oh my Christ. Like, I needed to be in air-conditioned space so bad after that. Yeah. Thankfully, it was the rainy season. So, towards the end of the trip, it became cooler. The humidity is stupid. No, Laos was not humid, I have to say. Laos did not feel humid. So let me describe it like this. It felt like I was in a place where I sweat less. Or it's more like my sweat evaporate faster. And but I was just grilling, you know. I was getting really hot real fast. Yeah. I think the comparison between Laos and Singapore when it comes to heat is that I describe Laos heat as penetrating heat, whereas Singapore's hot is like, it's just humid hot. The difference between humid hot and like dry hot is that you sweat a lot more in like a humid country, and your sweat just doesn't evaporate as well, so you get sticky more easily. But then if you talk about Laos, you don't have the same feeling of like stickiness. It comes in slower, you know. So yeah, I got sunburned when I was there by day 2. No, like yeah, day 2, because when I went to the school that was over there, our role was to do 2 things. We were supposed to give education to the kids, at least in our own way, like a Singaporean way, and we were supposed to do construction. We helped the school to build a stone wall, of all things. It was quite a scam. The school told us, hey, you're gonna help us build a 10-meter road. And we're like, oh, 10-meter road, what can go wrong? And then they changed their mind and they say, oh, sorry, we meant like a 10-meter wall. And a 10-meter wall is a very different concept from a 10-meter road. Yeah, we got so scammed by the school that we were supporting. It was a stone wall. So the problem with that stone wall was that we were using like actual giant stones, and there were a lot of procedures. First, we had to like dig a drain so that there was a foundation, and then after we had to start, you know, putting the stones into the hole. And the stones were huge. So you know what's the extra activity? We had to hammer down the stone. Not everyone did it, of course. It depends on who was the stronger ones. But basically, the entire like half a day, we were always standing in the sun while we were doing construction. So that's pretty much why I'm pretty burnt. Do I have 10 lines? It's not as bad. When I first came back from the trip, it was bad, but I think I'm healing. I had a friend who was very bad. He literally turned full on black, like grilled, you know. Think of it as roasted chicken. Like, that is how I describe him. No, I called him Oreo. Because he literally had like his whole arm just turned black, and then it was pure white. And then it was black again, you know. Like, it just looked horrible. He didn't put sunscreen. So, yeah. Yeah, it was very bad of a sunburn, I would say. That's why I had to quickly get sunscreen. But the sunscreen didn't help that much, I would say. So, yeah. That's why I'm dark, to answer the question for that story. Wholesome stories of Laos. Wholesome. I met good people. The locals were nice. I got to speak to the teachers of the school and learn about their life, the way that, you know, they spend their time in Laos, how the children behave, what is it like to have a home in Laos. Like, it's very sweet to be able to talk to to be able to communicate with the locals, I would say. What other things are on my mind when it comes to wholesome stories? Can't fully recall. Like I think my favorite part really were the locals. The locals were great, really. I might want to combine a story because there is a section where I said that I met like a Arknight's doctor, right? Wait, where am I? I'm like here now, and like yeah, I met an Arknights fan. I met an Arknights fan on the first day of the trip because I announced that I was visiting Laos, and there was someone who caught the message that I was visiting Laos. So he, said that he was in the city that I was first visiting, which was Vientiane. So I asked him, hey, come over, meet me, chat with me. And it was very, very nice. He gave me souvenirs. I have it on my fridge. He gave me this. He gave me nice magnets that I already have pasted on my fridge. So I'm like super, super appreciative of the magnets. Actually, it pretty much sufficed for me because I didn't really get to buy magnets, but to have them from him is like it makes me feel very full from the trip. So yeah. I mean, I got to learn from him, like, how he lives his life. He's a teacher, a very young teacher. He was 25 years old, if I recall correctly. And, like, he... How do I put it? His English was pretty decent as well. And the reason why his English was also pretty decent was that he is an English teacher. So even though it wasn't, like, exactly smooth sailing, perfect English and whatnot, but still I can chat with him to really learn about his life. I also asked him as to how he is when it comes to playing Arknights, and he did describe to me that in Laos is very, very rare. I mean, I had the impression from the start that it was going to be pretty tough to find anyone who plays Arknights. Was he a whale? I don't think you'd want to whale if you're someone who is a local there, because the expenses are so high on any game. But it's for the fact that Arknights is a very free to playable game that I suppose he even pick up Arknights and still continue to play it today, because it's not a game that demands you to spend, you see. So he was still playing it at that point in time when I got to meet him, and that was really nice to hear. I do wish I could have spent a bit more time with him or even explore the city of Vientiane, but otherwise, like, yeah, it felt like company when, with that being one of my first few experiences while I was in Laos. Yeah, and I really hope to have that same experience when I visit other countries as well, to be able to see a lot more of you and really, like, have you to show me around your home, have you to tell me about the country that you've lived in for long. Yeah. I do hope also that he'd one day be able to visit Singapore. If any of you do visit Singapore, feel free to, like, let me know, or even let any of your Singaporean friends that you may or may be soon meeting in my Discord server, because there's a lot. So yeah. Alright. That's my story for meeting an Arknights friend. Someone asked me to say spooky stories. I don't have any spooky experiences while I was in Laos. I sleep late all the time. I mean, there is a saying, which is a saying I don't wish to say, because I think this will make some of you unnecessarily scared. In Laos, no, not in Laos, sorry. There's a saying about a certain animal, which is dogs. Okay, if you don't like scary stories, mute this stream, and when I raise 2 thumbs up, you can unmute the stream. Alright? Ready? Okay, mute now. Okay, so the thing about dogs is that people tend to say that if you hear dogs barking at night, you don't bother with them. Because there's a saying that dogs can see stuff. So, like, that happened one night where basically right in front of my dormitory, I think it was like 11 p.m. that it happened. There was just this one dog that started sitting right in the front of the dormitory, and it was like front facing out. So at first, like, you know, the people in my dormitory, they started to get curious. And then afterwards, we thought about it and we're like, oh wait, we shouldn't dabble with that. Because it's kind of like bad omen. It's not that I exactly buy into it, but I don't want to challenge it as well, you know. But that dog really kept barking in the same position for like an hour. So that's like the most spooky stories I can say, to be honest. But apart from that, I don't really have any other stories that I can remember, I would say. So, yeah. Akuro, Tuck doesn't do. Which floor is he going to fail? I have no idea. I don't think he'll fail. Maybe 7? 5? Somewhere there. Yeah. So that's what I would say about Spooky Story. And then, yeah, double thumbs up. Unmute. Congratulations.
17 Bog.
You have conquered the Spooky
bed,
Story.
Kaki J sleep.
Thanks, you. Degeneracy. What did I want to say about degeneracy? Oh, I'm surprised by Laotian laws. Is what I want to say about degeneracy. Call my friend stupid for like looking up very he basically started looking up into like the rules of when is something a crime and then when is like marriage legal and all that kind of thing. But it was honestly surprising, whereby the legal age to marry in Laos was 15. And like that blew my fucking mind off. Like, what? That is way too young. Yeah. And the problem is that it is a very breached law, you know. As much as that is the law, there are a lot more people, like very young ones, who get married way earlier. Why does that happen? Because forced marriage is a thing. Sometimes these kids don't have a choice. Their parents, not even their parents, you know. Trafficking is a thing in Laos. It's not as maybe common as the past, but it does exist, sadly. So, yeah. Like, I think I was told stories as to how there were like kidnapping incidents within the village areas of Laos. So it's quite sad to hear that. But yeah. Pretty bad stuff, I would say. That's what I would say about degeneracy, you know. That ain't surprising if you observe history. Yeah. It's just more like, it's also an educational thing where Laos doesn't have especially good education at the moment. They have a huge disparity on the number of primary schools or elementary schools, whichever that you see it, versus secondary schools. And even when you talk about elementary schools, some elementary schools are not even complete. In Laos, they have 5 grades for their elementary school. And some of the schools are not like fully built, so they even end at a grade of like grade 2 or grade 3. So these kids don't really grow up very well, you get what I mean? It's already a rarity for you to advance to like a better form of education. And then even if you get there, you gotta hope that your teachers are good, right? You gotta hope that your school actually bothers to teach you and serve you well. Even though I was only serving one school, which I was very impressed with the school, by the way, because when we were there and were told to like educate the kids on subjects like English and math, they are grade 5 or grade 6 in secondary. I remember the peers that I had in the community service, one of them told me that they flipped the math textbook for a grade 5, I believe. And you know what was the first thing that they saw? Integration. If you don't know integration, then you know differentiation. Yeah, it was like that level of math. And we're just like, oh shit. We don't even remember how to do those things. Yeah. The school was really a rarity. They actually did teach their students very well. In terms of like really their sciences, their math, like it was good. English is not great, you know, it's like mother tongue a second language where these students might not feel as incentivized to learn. But I can see that in the higher grades, they can construct sentences, which is pretty damn decent already. So yeah, education is bad in Laos in general. Just that I didn't really get exposed to it. You know, it's only things that I read up on. So yeah. You remember a teacher who did that in your school? Yes, hi Black Knight. I spoke to one of the teachers in the school that I was helping, and he was sharing with me how he was previously in like another government secondary school, and he stated that he had a year where I think it was a math class. I cannot remember the specific class, but his teacher did not turn up to work for the entire year. Imagine paying school fees to not have a teacher, and all you do is like, you got a textbook. So it became a problem where the students basically need to self-learn. You know, they need to self-learn, there's no one to guide them, and if they're lazy to study, they're lazy to do it by themselves, then they just don't learn. Yeah, so that's what I mean by the education is not that great in Laos. And I mean, I suppose that's also why there was an opportunity for my school to go there for community service. Yeah, how is he even employed? I don't think he was employed. I think he was fired. But there was no replacement. You get what I mean? Like a manpower. So they couldn't serve like everyone in the school. Yeah. Okay, that's that for like degenerate story. I leave negative stories to the end. Undiffused minds is just a myth. I had to confirm the myth. If any of you try to read up fun facts about Laos, the fun fact is that Laos is apparently said to be a country that has the most number of undiffused mines in the world that's left over from like past wars. So why is that the case? It's just, of course, no one bothered to clear them. But the region that I went to did not have that issue. The mines were located, like I asked one of the teachers that was there, and they said that the mines are located more north, like far north or northwest of Laos. Not really on like, you know, the road path. It's not like you're gonna drive halfway and kaboom, that sort of thing, but like, yeah, in the open fields where people aren't living in, that sort of problem. So no, I did not have to fear for my life. I kinda did a little bit, but it's not like I was gonna walk into random grasslands while I was there. So that's that. Some people said that you want some funny stories. I don't have a lot of funny stories. Language barrier was a huge issue while I was there, but I enjoyed a really good massage. You know, like one of the big things I craved for when I visited Laos was to have a very good massage. So I managed to like have what they call a Lao massage, basically their own traditional massage. And that was fun to do it. But I wasn't the one who had it yet. It was my other friends who came out of the room and said, "Hey guys, so was your massage like this?" So like what? He asked. One of my friends, instead of like going into the room where, you know, it's like dimly lit and everything and then having that Lao massage as mentioned, his one was him alone in the room and the lights were off. He was still clothed, unless he can't tell that he was still clothed. Yeah, pretty much. Like, that was one of it. And then there was another one who went for an oil massage. And that was fully nude. Did he enjoy it? I suppose. Let's go a bit not so PG-13 here, but I can say that to his story, he was definitely fearing his life that he would steam in front of the masseur. You get what I mean? The men here in the chat. But he survived. Yeah. It's been a while since I had massage, so to feel points of my body that I never knew can have the feeling was like, oh my goodness. Massages, like a full body massage, you can imagine they go for like the head, the shoulder, the arm, and everything. The moment they fucking attack, like there was this one portion where I don't know if the masseur was using her hand or her feet. Okay, it's very similar to Thai massage, where sometimes the masseurs like to use like their full body. They might use their arm, they might use their leg, that kind of thing. So I think it was the leg where like she fucking pressed against this part of my body. Bro, I freaking jumped up, you know. I'm like, what the fuck is that feeling? I've never had anyone going in that area before. Yeah. But would I experience it again? Yeah, sure, because it was really sore at that point. But it was dangerous as well. How does it feel afterwards? I was rejuvenated. I wish I had a longer massage, not gonna lie. I went up and climbed a stair on the adulthood meter. Not really. They go for Tuina instead of massage. What's a Tuina? Never heard of that. But yeah, that's pretty much like as far of a funny story that I can mention. I don't really have any other funny stories. I had annoying stories, but I will not mention them because that's a bit rude. Where basically some of my members were being dumb. I'll save that for myself to know. Yeah. There were a lot of insects in Laos, but that was also because we were staying in the mountains. Like our dormitories, the first day, it felt like we were part of the cast of Lord of the Flies or something. Because like we were literally under attack. You know, we closed all the windows, we closed all the doors, and like somehow insects always manage to sneak in. I mean, it's a variety of insects: cockroaches, spiders, flies. Everything you could ask for was there, really. And we were kind of sleeping with it. My friend had a theory, which I thought was interesting. And I kind of believe him after that, because he had this theory where, for those of you who live in countries where there are a lot of insects, you tell me, okay, if you think this is true. When the moon goes from a no moon to a half moon to a full moon, basically the bigger the moon gets, the less likely insects will attack. I don't know if that's true, but I felt that when I was in Laos. Okay, so the reason why he had that theory was that insects are normally attracted to light. So when it's like a bigger moon, there is a brighter light. So I didn't believe it at first, but there was actually really less insects as the time passed. How big were the insects? This size? This size? They weren't huge. There was a huge spider that I managed to see. A huge, beautiful green spider, but it wasn't near our dormitory. So yeah, that was pretty much that. But yeah, we had incidents of needing to fight insects for the girls who were part of the trip. Wow. Any other funny stories? While I had good food, I had horrible ones as well. There was a cafe that I thought was like really good when I was in Luang Prabang of Laos, because a lot of foreigners, like especially French-looking people. I might have just generalized everyone was a European. I'm so sorry if that's the case. Maybe I should have said European, but I'm just gonna be specific and say they looked French. You know, they sounded French, and there's that. And like Laos was colonized by French before, I think, at some point in history. So that's why the French were visiting. But there were basically a lot of foreigners that were within the cafe. So I thought it was a good cafe, you know? Everyone's just drinking coffee, everyone's just having some cakes and some food, some pasta. So I bought the food that were there. God damn, that was like the worst freaking cafe I've been to in my life. Really. I've never tasted pasta where the first mouth tasted like Maggi noodles. Imagine eating carbonara and the freaking fusilli tastes like Maggie. That's not what I thought carbonara would be. Indomie pasta, not exactly Indomie. That was weird. Uh, I needed to go to a different place for carbonara after that cafe. And then the other place was actually more redeeming than this cafe. So like, yeah. I thought it was like a Laos thing. Like I needed to test it, but yeah. I could have gone to a Scandinavian bakery in Luang Prabang. No, I don't know where were like the best places of Luang Prabang, but I did go to some really good places. I mean, this will move to the next category of stories, which is sightseeing. What did I get to sightsee while I was there? If I go back to the idea of food again, I did go to some of the best restaurants. I don't even know if this is considered a restaurant. I would say I think it is. It was basically a restaurant by the Mekong River. Laos and Thailand are very nearby, and they both have the Mekong River across their country. So, a riverside food place for the first time, I've ever eaten in a place like that. Was it enjoyable? Hell yes. The food was awesome. It felt like America. There's this term. Someone fill me in on this. How do you describe like food that feels like it's cooked by a mother? Or like a really good aunt? There's a term for it. I forgot what is it called. No, not heartwarming. It's like yes, soul food. Thank you. Yes, exactly. It tasted like soul food. It was really, really good of a restaurant. Like I told myself 100% for sure when I get back to Laos, I am going back there. Because it's like it tops whatever places I've eaten in Singapore before. Really, I've never enjoyed food that much. Prices were not low for that restaurant. It was like somewhere close to Singapore price, still lower. So yeah, thanks for all saying welcome back from Laos. I'm almost wrapping up my stories about Laos. Yeah. But there's still a bit more. We went to see waterfalls while we were there. So I went to Namkat while I was there, Namkat River. I had a time of trekking. It's been a while since I did trekking, but it was very enjoyable. We were supposed to zip line, but we were too late to go for the zip line, so couldn't enjoy that. It's the first time ever in my life as well that I managed to go to a resort. Like resort that is not Singapore level, I'm not talking like Sentosa, I'm not talking like Downtown East D Resort for those of you Singaporeans who's been there before. I'm speaking like the kind where the house is right beside the river, you wake up, you see like mini water creeks kind of thing. I was just there for one night, but it was fun to be able to actually feel what it's like in the environment for the first time. I went to see Kwang Si Waterfall. That was in Luang Prabang as well. And very, very pretty of a place. It's the first time that I get to see water that is very blue or green, whichever way that you see it. Namkat River looks huge. We didn't cross the whole river. We just did it to reach the waterfall. So that took about 20 to 30 minutes to go from like a drop-off point into the place. No, we didn't get to go to Vang Vieng, the other city of Laos. Yeah, but we spent very few days actually in different regions. Like Vientiane, I spent 2 days. In Luang Prabang, we spent 1 day, and then actually that was pretty much it. And then we just spent like a day at Namkat Resort. So yeah, besides insects, did I see any other interesting animals? I saw water buffalo for the first time, if that's a thing. But the water buffaloes are common for so many of you other people who don't live in Singapore, because it's the problem with the country that I live in. I don't get to see that many animals. Really, I was very surprised by the lack of birds, if I have to mention that. Birds are super freaking common in Singapore, but there were very few birds in Laos. And it's like, I guess because there's way more choices of habitats, so they kind of like huddle there instead of like interfering with residents. You get what I mean? I was thinking I'll see like some really exotic birds while I was there, but no, I didn't. Any other animals? No. I don't think Laos have a big variety of animals, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Any other sightseeing places? I went to the best bar of my life, I would say. Like a drinking bar. A drinking bar that I feel is really good and that I can afford. You know, you don't get that a lot in Singapore. You know, if you want to spend a time at like a damn good bar in Singapore, that's what speaking blowing the wallet. But over there, I didn't get that feeling as much. I went to a bar that was like very hidden, where you walk down the alley and then you gotta, you know, twist in a little bit, open the door and find out there's a hidden place. I didn't get to spend a lot of time in the bar because it was like closing, but I would love to visit it again. Like I told myself for sure, if I ever get to visit that country in a holiday, because that's in Vientiane, a very accessible bar. It was called Cocoon Bar for anyone who's from Laos and watching this stream. But basically it was really in a hidden alleyway, and it was very sweet because the bartenders also speak English. You know, I can hear that the guests, all the customers in there were also speaking English, and the cocktails that I had were like the best ever. I like, hands down, no kidding, best flipping cocktails I've ever had in my life. Yes, alcohol was butt-loadingly cheap in Laos. For a cup of ice coffee shake, like I'm speaking an ice blended coffee drink, that was 1.8 USD, 1.5, 1.8 USD, somewhere in that range. For a bottle of soju, okay, maybe not the best brand of soju, okay, but it was a brand of soju. I think it was Damso that was there. It was 1 USD. One! My brain exploded! It cost $10 fucking dollars in Singapore! Yeah. So of course I drank a lot. I mean, alcohol was cheap. What's stopping me, right? And that's where we go to the drinking incident later on. But yeah. So yeah, got to see a lot of nice places. I wish I experienced more in Laos, to be honest. And I am very thankful for my trip to Laos because I got to know a country that I might have never cared about. You know, yes, I will still do viewer posts. Like, if it weren't for my school bringing me there, I will really have never gone to Laos in my life. But now that I've been there once, I know for sure I want to go there again. Because it was very enjoyable to be there. And I actually recommend people to go there. You know, I think Laos is a very misconceived country, as in misunderstood country, where maybe people think like, oh, it's not very safe, it's not like a good place to go. But the amount of foreign people who visit there, you know, whether it's Vientiane, Vang Vieng, or Luang Prabang, it's a lot. Like at first, when I first landed there, I didn't understand why. But then after I see like the prices, you know, when you compare to something like US, or even surrounding countries, then I start to be like, oh, no wonder there are so many Chinese people here, you know, who wants to spend off their bucks. Yeah. I don't think every country surrounding Laos is more expensive. Oh no, Laos is not the cheapest place I've been. Laos has its problems, whereby I thought that, you know, if you go to a country different from Singapore, they will have like a lot of farms, a lot of local products. But to my surprise, Laos is a heavy imports country. They do have a lot of imported products from Thailand, from China, and Korea, surprisingly. And the reason for that is that instead of having their local produce as the thing that they sell into the country, they tend to sell those local produce to the other countries, and then maybe those countries process these products and then send it back. That sort of thing. Like rice is okay because Laos does produce rice in their own country, so the prices is not as high. But when you talk about like some like meat products, meat is like a lot more expensive in Laos. And even snacks. I think it was very hard to find a local snack in Laos. It is more common that the snacks are from Thailand, being their closest neighbor. So yeah, that is what I would mention when it comes to the things I've seen. Yeah. So to Laos, I wish to go back one day again. Black Knight, you don't happen to be the person that I met while I was in Laos, right? You're just, I don't know if you are, because it's like I remember the guy who I met when he was in Laos. He was telling me it's like he felt as if he's the only person who played Arknights in Laos. It was so hard to find anybody else who would want to play. Oh yeah, I remember my biggest surprise now as well. I did go to Laos with the impression that I won't see so much mobile phone usage. Like, call me ignorant, but I legitimately think that because, you know, other countries might not have it as well in terms of quality of living, that maybe phones are not as like friendly of an option. So of course for the younger kids, they don't tend to have phones. But even like the school that I was serving, the secondary school students who are above 13 to 18 that is, some of them do own phones, and like I won't say top tier phones, we're not speaking like iPhone, Samsung, that kind of thing, but they had at least decent phones that they could run with, that they can film videos and enjoy content. So I guess it was a bit of a shock to me, I suppose. And pretty much all the locals have it. Just again, they don't enjoy the same phones as maybe say people who are in Singapore. You know, the common brands being things like Xiaomi, Huawei, Oppo. So that did open up my world. But I was even more happy to see that, because that meant that the ability to connect with people in the world is a lot more than I think it is. You know, the ability to just drop text towards people, the ability to be able to call someone from another country. It's crazy accessible in our day of living. So yeah, I'm gonna conquer Laos with content. But computer is a lot less. Laptops, if we're speaking laptops and personal own computers, yeah, definitely not. Phones are the base. Another reason why I also thought that phones won't be as common is because I thought that might have been a culture at first, but then, of course, with COVID being a thing, I don't think COVID allowed a lot of people to live in a way where they didn't have mobile phone. So if expenses allowed it, as far as, you know, like stretching the budget, most people do try to get a phone, especially after the lockdown situation. So that's what I would say towards my time in Laos. Any other little stories? Compare Laos versus Singapore. Which one do I like more? I love Laos more. I am not kidding. I love Singapore for its internet. Okay, that's for sure. Singapore's internet is brilliant. And in terms of safety, then yes, Singapore is definitely going to be a lot safer than any of the other countries. You can walk out at night without fearing your life, but you won't feel the same if you're, you know, in Laos or Thailand, Vietnam. You know, your parents will tell you to stay at home. So those are like the two big things that I appreciate about Singapore. But in terms of like way of living, I don't mind Laos, I'll be honest, because I can see pockets of places where maybe you choose to live at and you'd still have the necessary amenities around you to still like be able to get by life, you know, get your grocery shopping, if you need utilities, can drop by, you need to visit a bank, that sort of thing. This depends on the region that you stay in, of course. If you're saying like Vientiane, things are a bit more accessible. If you're saying a little bit more rural off, then that really depends on where you situate your house. Of course, vehicles are going to be cheaper there compared to Singapore, so you will have to get around by car or motorcycle, but not public transport, of course. So yeah, Laos can be considered a golden ratio of urban and rural. Describe it that way, yes, I would say. So yeah, okay, that's how I would compare Laos and Singapore. I really enjoy it. The fact that I've witnessed Laos this up close for the first time, it makes me excited to witness a lot of the other countries as well, whether it's Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines. I did tell myself that I want to have the opportunity to visit like the people who has helped me in my life, being people like my thumbnail makers, my video editors. Not exactly visit their homes, but at least be able to be in their surrounding places to really like learn the ways that all of you have seen things differently. So yeah, and I won't lie that years down the road I can foresee myself maybe not even staying in Singapore and choosing to stay in another one of these countries. I spoke to a friend that was on the trip, and even though he's been a Singaporean for a long time, even he shares with me that he would love to go to Indonesia to stay. And I think the same way as him. I do think that there is some comfort in some of the other places. The only biggest issue is, the third nicest reason to be a Singaporean. You do have the world's strongest passport. So, losing the world's strongest passport is not the greatest feeling. If you really do want to change citizenship and whatnot. So that's that. Compare Laos and Singapore. Okay, drinking incident. I saved the best for last, or more like the worst for last, whichever way that you see it. If you looked up on my Twitter, if any of you follow my Twitter, is that I openly admitted that I'm not in the best state of mind. Right? I did come back from the Laos trip feeling very... Like, I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to have experienced stuff. But I came back actually sadder than when I started the trip. It's to the point where I would use the word I was emotionally broken. Was Laos my first international travel? No, it's not. I've definitely been traveling when I was younger. My parents would bring me overseas. Like, I visited... let's not count Malaysia, because Malaysia is a direct neighbor. But I visited Thailand. Visited China, Japan, that sort of thing. Yeah. I won't describe it too much because I don't really want to bash the people that I spent my time with, but I wasn't fully enjoying the people that I was surrounded by. Basically the schoolmates that I accompanied on the trip with. It wasn't really a problem with them per se, but it was just more like, it's a very natural thing. If you're in a class, you're in a certain like group environment, you will have to, sit yourself within people that maybe you don't click very well with. So basically, I wasn't a fan of a lot of the people that I met there, and that made it very difficult for me to like be myself, I would say. Why if they're watching this stream? I'm fine if they're watching this stream and they want to hear some honesty. Plus, like, I won't sugarcoat. I'd like to be a bit more honest. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. Yeah, are they too active for me? What does active mean? Does active? No, I'm very confused by the word active. I miss your birthday, and for that I shall do a myself. But sure. Too much energy. No? Maybe the other way around? I don't know. Some people were the opposite of the idea of too active. Too inactive, maybe. I really don't want to take the stream as like a time to like... What? Your girlfriend dumped you after 6 years? Oh my god, I feel for you. Annabelle, you're American, right? Let's meet. Oh wait, no, you're Italian. Man, I'll not see you in a while. I remembered that you're Italian. Man, see you years later. Yeah. But let me see how I can describe my problems in a way that does not directly call out on people. It's an issue that I had when I was younger, whereby when I'm surrounded by people that I am very like, I put it 3 ways: people that I am uncomfortable with, people that I don't share the same values with, uncomfortable, don't share the same values, or I simply cannot find a way to click with them. It's not that I hate them or I don't have things that I don't like about them, but it's like, you know, vibe check not correct. You get what I mean? When I'm with such people, I tend to clam up.
Welcome back to Streaming Tilda.
I don't think this is an actual psychological term, but I personally coined this term. I call it an extrovert's nightmare. So the way I describe extrovert's nightmare is that, because I'm an extrovert, I enjoy speaking to people, I enjoy being surrounded by people. But when I'm put into a situation where I realize I find it very hard to talk to people around me, it starts to make me into a shell. You know, I close up very hard. And that's a problem because it means I'm not being myself. And the longer I do that, the more it breaks me inside. You get what I mean? It's like the one thing extrovert needs is to feel great around people who are, you know, spreading the energy. And that was not how I felt during the trip. So yeah, it was a very bad phenomenon. It's the second time that I felt this way in my life. And it was just absolutely tough to get through that. There were a lot more thoughts that I had during the trip, whereby I guess I started thinking about very difficult topics with things like my career prospects, you know. I'm quite solidified on one thing, which I don't mind sharing with the stream. That is, I'm pretty certain that with the way things are progressing, I will most likely pursue a line of entertainment. By entertainment, I refer to things like YouTube, Twitch, and whatnot. But I think I am probably going to end up being someone that goes beyond just these two platforms. You won't see it happen so soon, but like in the current phase of my life, I'm learning to be a host, an MC, basically someone who can hold events, you know, whether it's for my school or outside of my school. I do know that one of my big goals is that I do wish to one day get the experience to shoutcast for games, you know, like an esports competition, because I think it's going to be really fun, that level. But even beyond that, like I do enjoy the space of just, you know, being out here. I don't really enjoy the term influencer, you know. I don't like to think of myself that way, because I'm not here to like tell people to eat Tide Pods or tell people to like follow a movement. That's not who I am. I just like what I do because I'm in, like, I don't know if I'm doing it well. It's really for you guys to say. But I would want to think that I'm capable of entertaining people. And since I have this ability, I would love to be able to carry it, you know, forward for weeks, for months, for years to come. You know, and continue improving and knowing how to get that energy going. So yeah, pretty much. so on one hand, while I was in Laos, in like career being one thing that I thought about. The negative part about this career story is that yes, I charted very far in my brain, like maybe where I wanted to go. But then in the moment, I was also getting scared. You know why? Because I wasn't posting any videos. The internet was bad when I was there. I couldn't produce. I didn't have the mood to edit. I didn't really want to have any calls with my editors. So I was just like, oh my god, my progress is so stunted while I'm there. I'm supposed to make a video about Tiltwave. I'm supposed to make a video about Monster Hunter. Or a video about, like, the Blue Banner. And I have so many in the backlog that I haven't been doing. But I didn't find the opportunity. So, like, I apologize for being so late in all of this. But give me time. I'll follow. Yeah, I'm still gonna bring up... I'm still gonna beat a freaking dead horse, alright? I promise you, I am still gonna make a Tiltwave video. Even though it's been a month since that situation happened. So, that was one of the negative thoughts that I had. And then, another negative thought that I had during my trip was... it's kinda harsh. But relationships was the thing. Because I'm 23. You know, I started thinking, where do I find my partner? I can't help it. I'm at the point where I'm like, lots of people around me are being with people. I don't think I'm someone who won't get a girlfriend. But do I think I am hindering myself from getting a girlfriend? Kind of. Cause like, how do I describe it? It's not that I'm picky per se. I just don't put effort into it. But I spoke to my mom about it. You know, my mom was very sweet to me today because I spoke to her about the different problems that I had. This being one of them, and she was just telling me, you know, I mean, it's great to hear it directly from a parent, that is. But she was just telling me, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Don't force it. Yeah, you don't make it happen and end up like it being a half-hearted thing, you know. Just hold it out. And you'll find someone that you feel like you really, really genuinely gel with. Is what she mentioned. It's tough because I haven't been with someone for a while. Start doing auditions for auntie. What the fuck? I'm not gonna vet that. Okay, the toughest negative thought that I had. Is this Moose the Moose that I know? This Moose looks very familiar. Oh! Oh my god, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, good to hear from you. Maybe we meet again soon, alright, Moose? But, the last hardest negative thought that I'm still fighting against at the moment is that, let's call it midlife crisis, alright? But the trip, because I was in that, you know, very painful state of the trip, right? I wanted to voice this problem to someone at the very least, that being a friend. But I'm not gonna lie, I think some of you feel this way with me, okay? I don't think I'm gonna feel that alone. If you've been feeling alone, it's okay. Alone people, we stand by together, okay? But this thought is too common. It's just one fine night in the middle of the trip, I suddenly asked this really hard-hitting question. I asked myself, who are my close friends? It's such a sad thought, but I just had that one fine night where, you know, it's like, oh my god, ultra pessimism. Because it's like, okay, so let me explain my state of life. I am someone who knows a lot of people. I'll put it straight. Like, I am someone who have a lot of friends. I like to think so, or that even if it's not friends, it's acquaintances. But I won't deny that in my younger years, I was a bit confident in answering who my close friends are. But there is a reason why I reached the stage where that became a question. Reason is that during my entire time in university, I dedicate to streaming, I dedicate to video making, I have other commitments in my school, I wasn't able to spend a lot of time with my friends. And that started to really make me split apart from my friends, where I drift, I don't spend that much time with people. I don't keep track of their life, they don't keep track of mine, end up we don't, we just start to not know each other. The people who I once thought were close friends are now no longer people that I can confidently say are my close friends. It's a very, very sad feeling. But, I mean, it hit me hard, and I think because I was in that sad emotional state, right, while I was during the trip, my head started to scramble very hard. I remember there was this one night while I was at a hotel and I was sleeping in a room with my other friend right beside me. I won't give context as to why. Let's not go there. But yeah, I legitimately won't give context as to why I didn't voice my problem to the friend who I've known for 2 years directly beside me. You all can fill in the gaps yourself. But I legitimately had this one night where I was just lying in the bed and I wanted to sleep. But my dear pals in this stream who have like all your mental demons chasing after you, anxiety, even form of depression and whatnot. Yeah, I had my episode, alright, where your negative thoughts just swarmed the fuck out of my head. That I needed to get the hell out of the room. I just got out of the bed, I jumped out, I put on my headphones, I took my slippers, and I walked out of the hotel. It was very dangerous to do that, not gonna lie. You wanna know why? I wanted to walk to the Mekong River. But what time was it when I did that? It was fucking 11 p.m. I walked towards there, and my mind was conscious enough to say, I don't think this is very safe. Let's go to a safer place. So I sat outside the hotel. I sat outside. Yeah. But I just sat there just, thinking and looking through my phone contacts. Just scrolling and looking at my messages and everything. There's a reason also why I don't think this is a problem with my friends, but rather this was a self-inflicted problem that I had. Where for people who do keep in a lot of close contact with me, one thing that most people will know is that I am a horrible texter. And it's not because I'm naturally bad at it, but I don't do things to be good at it. Younger days of me, I used to speak in my texts. Even Zafeng is scolding me. Okay, let me tell you my evolution of texting from my younger days till now, okay? If we talk 14, 16 years old, my friends will complain I sound too... Monotone is the wrong word. Straight is the wrong word. But you all are starting... I think you all can understand what I mean when I say monotone and straight. It's just flat. Yeah. My texting is stiff. I'm the kind that will type in full sentences. I'll type in caps. I'll proper English. It's freaking annoying texting. And I don't sound like myself when I text that way. Yeah, and that was me when I was younger. And I mean, I'm just that bad. But I used to text more last time. Emotionless. I don't use emojis when I was younger. I don't know how to emoticon. I don't know how to emoji. I try to fucking carrot. You know what I mean? Carrot. Or I put I don't know, equal dash equal. And then people just you look weird. are you writing? What are these weird emoticons? I will tell you that I probably unironically used uwu when I was younger. I don't know, maybe I did. I really can't tell. That's just how bad of texting I was, because I didn't know how to do it. Most of the time, after emoticons, emojis, people evolve, they start to like send images, they start to send like memes or like GIFs and whatever. I'm bad! I cannot! What the fuck are these? So, but as I got older, I became a bit better at texting. I started to like, okay, use emoticons as necessary, text a bit nicer and everything. Like, yeah. But then the next problem came after that. Tuck filled at 7th floor. Hey, nice. Yeah, but the next problem came after that. Oh yeah. Wait. Okay, this one, come. I tell you all horror story. Not scary. It's just a horror story of how stupid I am. I would go to this website when I was younger to text to people. I would use this. I would go like happy. Boom. Boom. And I was just that bad at texting really when I was younger. I'm not gonna fake it. It's just weird, people find it odd. Yeah. But oh wells, that's really much what occurred. As I got older, so I guess I started to be a bit natural-ish at texting. Started to sound a bit more like myself. So what was a new problem that came when I was maybe say between 16 to 20? I started texting less. Okay, so this is like a me problem. Personally, I hate, to the very core, I hate clicks. And I'm not saying I hate clicks because I was never in a clique in my life. In fact, I think I had all the time and like all the different chances of being in a clique, and I did put myself in cliques when I was much younger. But I never enjoyed cliques because this is my definition of a clique. Wait, let me just ask this because I have people from all countries watching me right now. Is clique a common word that you use among your friends? It's a very common word in Singapore, but I don't know if it is in other countries. Clique is this, by the way, if only one is one. No. When you say, wait, okay, this one I'm now more curious. When you say no, what country are you? Oh, okay, I guess y'all don't know the meaning. Okay, fine. No, that is probably more common than you think it is. Clique is basically a term to say a freaking close group of friends. It doesn't mean close, it doesn't mean common interest. It's not the same as common interest. That's like a friend group. But clique is more like people who are like, you have a damn good of friends and you stay in that group. It becomes so tight-knit to the point that you don't, it has exclusivity. It means like you don't really want to include anybody else in the friend group. It's cause like maybe it's like a group of 4. And then you're just stuck in a group of 4. You see anybody else, you're like, nah. We're good. I like these friends. You get what I mean? Yes. So the problem with cliques that I feel is I hate them because it's not fun. What's the point of sticking in a close group of friends? Like, yeah, okay, you bolster each other up and everything, but you don't. It's not natural. You end up closing off from cooler people in life. No, like, and you see, that's the. Okay, this is my eye-opening experience from being in Laos, where the nature of a clique was so minimal. The age of 13 to 18 secondary school in Singapore, it's very, very common to see cliques. Cliques forms insanely fast. And why is clique forming insanely fast an issue is that when cliques start to form, right, like if you imagine a classroom setting of maybe say 30 people, you know, you suddenly see like a group of 5 friends, 6 friends and everything. Then you end up having the people who are like what you call the loners of the class. You know, some of you might feel that way, but I hate that feeling because it's like, it's not like these people are uncool. It's just you chose not to talk to this guy. Yeah, okay, maybe he's a bit stranger and whatnot, but he's still gonna be a person who's capable to be a friend. You know, so like being in Laos and to see how people can really like socialize with each other a lot in the, at least in the school that I was in, like it was eye-opening to me. You know, that was one of the issues that I felt when I was in the trip. Like, so I went to Laos with like a group of 20 other students from my school, and a lot of us didn't know each other beforehand. You know, some of us have like one other friend, 2 other friends that's accompanying on the trip, but mostly we don't know a lot of other people. And this is also why I had the extrovert nightmares. Cliques form so fucking fast during the trip. You know, it's like suddenly people just stuck to one person who they thought were good people, and they use that person to survive the trip for 15 days. You know, and I didn't get that feeling when I was there. That was pretty much why I was suffering in the trip. Because it's like, I want to know people. I want to have fun in the trip. But why is everyone like sticking to like people that they barely got to know and not wanting to know anybody else? You get what I mean? Yes, the clique's nature is not just a Singaporean thing. It happens a lot, I believe, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, but I honestly would say it's a bit less in Southeast Asian countries and even European countries. I do tend to see Europeans are more comfortable generally around. In the US, I think the problem of cliques is a lot. Yeah. Of course, cliques are very common worldwide, but I do think the occurrence is less in some places. You get what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. Oh, you don't have to get me more souvenirs. The three magnets that you gave me are more than enough. They're literally right in the front of my fridge, Black Knight. Yeah. So, yeah, quite the headache it was. But anyways, I think I digress a bit too much from what I was trying to get to when I said I had a very negative thought. You know, it all started from me saying, who are my close friends? So yeah, but I was facing all these problems, and yes, I was scrambling to find people, and I realized I don't really know who to talk to amongst my friends list. I had people that I can speak to, you know, that I can just text. But I think in that moment of negativity, I didn't want to bother anyone, and I didn't really like text anybody that I was like super good with. I texted some, you know, not like ping every single good person that I knew. Otherwise, that would be waking up the entire planet. But like, yeah, I held back, you know, only messaged like about 2 friends. And like, yeah, I really started questioning who were actually my good people. Am I still close to some of my old high school friends? If I talk in Singapore terms, we have different levels of education, which one of it was secondary school. The other one is what we call junior college. I used to be really close to my junior college friends. And because I drifted so far from them, I've hit the point. I met them recently. I met them end last year because one of them invited me for a birthday party. And I realized It's the weirdest situation I've ever felt in my life. I didn't know how to talk to them. I don't know if any of you feel that way. Like the feeling of seeing someone you've never met for like 3 or 4 years, and then you're suddenly in the same room as them, and you suddenly realize you don't know what to say to them. As even though they are people that you spend maybe like every day for a year or 2 years. It sucked to have that feeling. You know, it's like I really want to know you again. But I cannot feel that barrier being broken, you know. It's because like it's the problem of this is the kind of thing when it comes to people I wish I knew more in my life. That is, my bestest of friends is when I find people who are very, very open-minded. Whereby, yes, they might not know these people, but they're very cool. Let's know more new people. Even if I'm not as close to them or I was once close to them, let's rekindle it and everything. One of you asked, do I think it was the same for them? I don't know. I never asked whether it was the same feeling. But do I really, really think it was the same? Honestly, the fact that we've never kept in contact ever since that birthday party, I want to say no. You remember crying in the middle of the night, realizing you didn't have anyone you could call? I already had my rounds of crying. I was like in a bottled state. I had my times of crying yesterday already. You know, one year quota. I tell myself every year I have a quote. No, not quota. A limit. Cry once a year. I've hit it. Done. No more crying. Only people with whom you chat with occasionally or something. Yeah. How the fuck can you get a quota? I don't know. I just impose it, but I probably fail it. Somehow, I mean, that's the thing. I had a lot of reflections after I spent that day, like being in that really sad state of shit. I feel like I'm not doing my job of maintaining friendships with people. So it's kind of my fault, you know. For my friends who's still very open to meet me, at this current point in time, a lot of them will say the same thing to me. And I think some of you should do a check, you know, with the people who, yeah, maybe you don't call them your close friends, but you still see them as a friend, right? Meet them for a day or give them a call, text them, whatever it is. It might look weird, but honestly, when you send a weird text to someone and they still reply you as friendly as ever, you know it's a keeper. Do you get what I mean? If you drop a weird ass phone call in the middle of the night to a friend that you have not spoken to for a year, they pick up your call and they chill and they don't actually like ignore your call, you know that person is a good person. Is what I would say. But that's not the only thing you should do, okay? I'm not telling you to just test the bait and be a weird person for like a day or a few days. Like, we're on the topic of maintaining a friendship here. And like, I think the lesson that I learned really is that when I meet these people who I still see as a friend and I ask them like, hey, where have you been? They ask me back, where have I been? And the reason that they feel that I haven't been able to talk to them or, you know, beefing up the friendship is that they always say the same reason. I'm very busy. Not them. They're describing me. They say I'm the busy one. I'm the problem child of the circle. I'm the one who's ignoring people. So like, yeah. Everyone's scared to ask me for things. What do you mean by that, Zafeng? Yeah, like, people are... Literally no one invites me to events because of that fact. All the streamer events. Oh yeah, that... No, that was the phenomenon last year. I remember last year, there were so many streamers who wanted to invite me for like a collab on stream and everything. And then there was a certain point where the streamers stopped asking me because everyone instantly assumed I'm busy. Which is not wrong, I am busy. But it's like, how do I explain this? Even when you're busy, it's like you should. I guess this is like the lesson that I learned. Filter out some time to at least say, hey, this is the hour to like, chat with someone, go and meet someone, text someone, ask them what to do, how to do it. I am the flick. What's a flick, by the way? Your friends got tired of you declining 80% of their invitations. Yeah. I mean, I declined a lot of invitations as well, and that's why people gave up on inviting me. Yeah. So, yeah, it's the sort of thing that I realize, maybe a few takeaways from my sad state of mind. If you want to make a friend, you need to make effort. Know that friends don't fall from the sky. You don't suddenly put your arms out and all of a sudden a cool person falls in your head. You get what I mean? Like, okay, fine, there might be that sort of weird anime moment where maybe you meet someone like that in your life, but it's way too rare. Rather, if you see someone that's cool, you want to get to know them, you're gonna try to give a hi, try to chat them out, drop them some text. If the person doesn't respond to you, the person doesn't like your guts, the person just ignores you, don't be sad. The instant response to people like that who ignores you and all that kind of thing is not worth it. What, they don't want to spend time with you? They think you're some weirdo? Then find the next one, Find the next cool weirdo that can, be able to enjoy being around you, is what I would say. Yeah, that's like one of the lessons that I learned. Make effort for your friends, really. Or make effort for people that you want. It's pretty much it. And especially if you are around people who you realize don't want to make the same effort, honestly, there's two things. Either get lost from them, or tolerate. There's a reason why I say the word tolerate. There are times that you cannot do it. What if you're in a class and you realize 80% of the class are people that you hate? That is too bad. Feel the pain. Know that you're not alone. I felt the pain of being around people that I cannot tolerate, but I lived with it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So while I'm still recovering from this whole feeling, yeah, I really hope to bring myself back to who I am again. The final thing that I'll add about this trip is my biggest struggle. A lot of people who meet me in real life, on screen, in videos and whatnot, I think there's an adjective that people will describe of me. And that adjective that people will put is that I come across as a really confident person. Like, I'm someone who ain't scared, I don't appear nervous, I know how to string everything that I want to say. The contrary is that I think I've honestly lived my life with very bad self-esteem. My self-esteem is so fucking rock bottom. In the background, most people don't realize that I take a lot of effort to start a stream. I take a lot of effort to make a video. I don't mean effort in terms of the time or the hours that I put, but rather the feeling of needing to like pull myself up, get myself together, and like, let's go, let's do something for the day. It's actually really tough for me all the time. Yeah. And the reason is that I tend to not be very confident. It's like I more often have not so good thoughts that creeps me up, where maybe I'll think to myself, what if I'm not gonna look good for the day? What if I scramble? What if I say things that I'm not supposed to say? What if I make a poor video? Like, yeah, I doubt myself a lot before I do things. But it's been a problem for me for so long in my life, and I felt this like low self-esteem issue while during my trip as well, because it's like I found it very hard to socialize with the people that I was around, right? And then I started to doubt, like, if I'm so comfortable to be sitting here to maybe share my stories with people, then why was it that I struggled so hard to string a good convo with, strangers or people that I'm trying to get to know? Like, all these complications just kept coming into my head. So yeah, it's been a flipping long, from younger childhood days thing that I'm still carrying now. No, I don't have paranoia. Yeah, it's not like, how do I describe my low self-esteem? I'm the kind of person who has lived with the idea that a weird shit could happen, like a meteorite suddenly crash down my place right now. And would I be okay with that? Yeah, I'm chill about it. I'm the kind that lives with the idea of something really miserable can happen in my life. It doesn't hurt me. What hurts me is the thoughts that stops me from doing things. Like, again, the fear of doubt, the fear of, I guess, not doing well, in a sense, or that I'm not as good as I think I am. Do I self-doubt and second-guess myself a lot? I do, all the time. Right before I went for my trip to Laos, I held a gathering, right? I held a gathering where I invited quite a few of my, you guys, the viewers, to hang out with me for a day at the Mall of Singapore. And you get, like, the people that I met were people that I've met for the very, very first time. Ever. But yet, we all spoke naturally. We had fun. We were talking about various topics. We really get to know each other. We went to see different places. Like, it's like a miniature version of going on an overseas trip, if you ask me. Then, when I was on the trip, and again, the same issue happened. Like, I'm with new people I'm knowing for the first time. I'm trying to get to know them. Why the fuck is it so hard? And like, then the self-doubt sets in. Then I start to attack myself. Fuck, I'm so shit. Like, what's wrong with me? I thought I'm good at this. That kind of thing. So, yeah. Some of you might then ask, if I then say that I have a confidence issue, then why do I look so natural on screen? That's a weird thing that I find very difficult to answer, because there's something about me and cameras. I won't want to use the word talent. I don't think I think there's a very incorrect word, but it's more like I somehow am someone who is very comfortable around cameras. Like, I have a switch. So as much as I tell you, it's very hard for me to maybe get myself to do things sometimes. But that's where the entertainment side of me comes, and why I enjoy streaming a lot more than video making. The moment I hit start streaming, the camera goes live and everything, I have this weird internal switch where I'm like, it's showtime. It's time to entertain. It's time to have fun. I realized this way before I started Twitch. Yeah. My first live streaming experience was not on Twitch. My first live streaming experience was actually on Instagram. And back then it was because I was streaming like a internal game event that was happening in my country, and I was just streaming it to my friends, basically. So it was a smaller environment, but I started to notice that I was very comfortable to just talk in the moment when the camera is going on. So I think when it came to like doing Twitch, I asked one of my very first viewers who ever watched me. He's my thumbnail maker now, by the way. And I asked him what got him to see me for the first time on Twitch. Like, why would he drop by my stream when I was a nobody back then? And then his answer was, I thought you were an already established streamer. And I was like, what? He said, I seem to know what I was doing. And I'm like, I guess. So yeah, I really have a thing to like, I really enjoy being in the moment of like being in front of camera. Not because I like to show myself, it's just I enjoy talking. I enjoy being able to tell such stories to people. So I mean, it's something that I really hope to keep up in the years and really to grow this audience, to have way more of you wanting to tune in, and then I can cook up, prepare even more things for you all to be interested to tell. You know, not just stories of my time, I want to hear your stories as well. So yeah. Video making is a lot more different. I have a lot harder confidence issues when it comes to video making because I tend to do way too many retakes. You know, if I scramble and I fail to say something correctly, I will do it again. Here's not a fun fact, just an interesting thing to say. There was one line in my Telopsis operator showcase where that line was 5 seconds long. And I hate to say this, but I retook that 5-second line 30 times. I repeated the same line 30 times. And how annoying is that feeling? To need to repeat the same shit in your head and like out. I don't know what was the line. I legitimately don't remember. But I kept pounding on the same thing for a good few minutes. So yeah, I never exactly knew how to solve this like esteem issue, but I guess a very selfish approach that I have is that the support that you all gave me, whether it's through stream, Discord, through YouTube, those are the things that lifts me up. You know, when it comes to love languages, I'm not actually very certain what is my current love language, but I know that my oldest love language, like that was considered the top, is that I'm someone who lives by words of affirmation. Like words encourages me a lot, and that's also why I behave the way I am. You know, do what you want people to do to you onto others. You know, that's like a quote that people say, right? If you want people to treat you nice, you treat other people nice. So, like, I believe in words a lot. Like, the things you say mean much. So that's why I always speak properly towards my friends, towards streams and whatsoever. And when I receive that from you guys as well, that's the thing that, you know, boosts me up and say that I'm doing a decent job, stop overthinking, and like keep going. I missed a question. Let me see what you all said. Oh no, I think it was from Lendrick. If you may be a little blunt about this question of why I can be like that with us but not with friends in real life, is because of this parasocial interaction. We're mostly treated as a collective, and part of you guys will always agree with me. No. I spoke about this to a friend recently, about the way that I am and why am I so confident in certain situations and why am I not confident in other situations. It's like there's just a bad phenomenon that I have where a friend put it to me quite correctly. When I'm in a situation where I don't have control, I just shatter. Okay, on a table with 8 people, for example, if let's say the people around me, their energy level is generally like the same, a little lower than mine or about the same as mine, correct? All these people, they don't like overpower each other, and sometimes maybe they could be shy or whatsoever. In that setting, right, my extrovert nature starts to come out, where I tend to like to lead the convo. You know, I'll get people to string together, make friends with each other, chat up, and all that kind of thing, right? Then, when I'm in, let's talk about the same 8 people table again. When there's someone else who I realize they are very chatty, very talkative, and they are like chatting about themselves, they also know how to, you know, pull people together and whatnot. My natural response is I close myself. I stand back. And depending on my mood in the moment, I more often do not participate. I let the person who is controlling the convo to do as he wish. So it's almost like a extrovert battle where if a person I realize is more in flow of the convo, I don't want to interfere. I don't choose to support the person. And that's when it becomes an issue because I start to behave like an introvert where it's like I wait for the person to get to me. You get what I mean? And then only when I'm looped in to be a part of the convo do I say, oh, yeah, let's go. But then, if not, yeah, that's pretty much that. So, the reason why I think I'm very comfortable with like something on stream is because it's legitimate, right? I have full control. Can't be one of you dominating my chat now. That gets you banned. Because why are you just overflowing the chat, right? In a way. If let's say I'm with another streamer, I mean it's just one other person, so it will just be a back and forth. But if let's say I'm in like a huge group setting, I think it's also the reason why I fear collapse. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm in a humongous setting where maybe there are 6 people in one stream, you may see a phenomenon where maybe you think of me as someone who will be like that guy, you know, who puts myself out there. But if I realize that the other people are a lot more powerful, I will step back. Why? I don't know. It's just me. That's how I naturally behave. So that's to answer the question on like, is it because of a parasocial relationship that I work better here? To a certain extent, the concept or the idea is there. Yeah, that's pretty much why I'm better. Do I not like bouncing off other people? I'm bad at it. I'm just bad at it. I'm good at it with certain people, but there are certain ways of bouncing off that I cannot keep up with. You know, it's like a skill. It's like a social skill that I realize I'm not very good at. Yeah, but I mean, it's something that I'm still learning. You know, it's very weird to say that at the age of 23, I'm still learning how to be a social person. But then again, for any of you who's in the stream and you suffer from social issues, I guess you're not alone, you know? Like, yeah, I'm a healthy person, but I think I face similar social issues, you know, that, like, I'm still figuring out how to be a person. A fun person, a humorous person for anyone to enjoy. So I think that's pretty much like all the stories that I will put to, really. Did I miss any more messages that some of you are saying? Let me see. It's easier to become a different person in front of the camera, someone said. I don't like to think that I'm a different person. I don't know. Zafeng, am I a different person when I meet you and on camera? I don't think so. It's not that different. Yeah, there's a bit of entertainment mode on, but I think I'm still me. Yeah, I don't fake it. Oh yeah, some of you know. Thanks for saying that. Like, I know you all in real life, and I'm still me. I mean, that's a good thing. If you ever meet me overseas, like, just know this is how I am. Help me feel comfortable if you ever meet me. You know, I'm scared of humans. I'm pretty certain at a certain point in my life, I may have nearly developed social anxiety. I was on the verge of developing social anxiety as like a big recurring problem, but I thankfully didn't. I don't see the camera as a person, more like a way to reach people. my perspective of a camera. I don't know. Maybe I think of a camera as a tool. It's a weird thing that is a tool that I also use to. Mo says, I think the difference between the company in Laos could be that not as good. I mean, like I said, I don't want to sell people out on this stream. I'm not gonna call out like this person not okay. Wait, don't use stream unfriendly terms now. I'm not gonna say like this person is not as great. Why not sugarcoat this? You get the idea, alright? Oh, vibes. Ironically, one of the most repeated words that I was so annoyed to hear on the debate was vibes. Literally everywhere that we visited in Laos, the reaction of the crew of people I went with is, oh my god, vibes, vibes, vibes. And I was like, what fucking vibes? What the fuck are they spouting out of their mouth? Why do Singaporeans behave this way? Like, you know all their Instagram stories? Oh, shit. Y'all make me sell out something I shouldn't sell out. But like, literally when they post their Instagram stories, they like take a picture of the place, and then they'll like write as a caption, vibes. Like, I don't get it! What superficial feeling are they feeling? Oh, you freaking white girl. I hope I get to see you one day and call you a white girl CLNSL. Can't wait for that day. I'm gonna freaking buy you a Starbucks coffee and you better sip that like the whitest person I've ever seen. There were a lot of Zoomer moments in my trip. It was painful. Very painful. Oh my god, no, don't hit me with the sleigh! Oh! Oh, it's like one of my most hated phrases to hear in university. Oh my god. Why do people connect with each other by the word sleigh? It still is. It's a thing in my fucking club. And I have to live with it. I mean, it's like the code of fitting in, you know. If one person says slay, everybody repeat after the person slay. Fuck my ass. Who enjoys saying that? I mean, this is the very reason why I'm tired of being Singaporean sometimes. The fucking shit that Singaporeans says. People under the age of 18, you are kidding me, bro. People at the age of 30 be saying slay. No, I'm kidding. My schoolmates are more like 24, 25. They're between the age of 19 to 25. Oh, that's cool, the fact that he's a white girl IRL. Yeah, so, okay, that's probably all the stories that I have. Oh, wait! Oh my god, I'm supposed to finish my chatting about Laos, but then I made a mistake. I left one story hanging. What is the drinking incident that I posted on my Twitter? Okay, this was an embarrassing incident, but basically there was a night that I went to a friend's room to drink, and okay, I have an excuse, okay? We agreed to drink at 9 p.m. So I went to the room, I went there, we had all the bottles and everything. It's legal to talk about drinking stories on Twitch, right? I want to think it is. Don't ban me. But I basically drank and all. And the people who all said they were gonna drink were so fucking late. You know, like, we said 9. At 10, they weren't still in the room. I was still in the room with like 2 other people because the room belonged to them. So I kept drinking on my own. And I wasn't watching my limit. The reason why I wasn't watching my limit is because I don't fucking know what's my limit. I've drank for 5 years in my life. I don't know when do I get screwed. Why would I compulsively drink? I'm not alcoholic. I just love being drunk. Of all the vices that I allow myself to have in my life, what are vices, if some of you wonder? Things like gaming, things like smoking, drugs, whatever it is. Like, I'm very against everything. I'm only okay with drinking. And why am I okay with drinking? Because I forget all the pain in my life. I recently read a very sad manga panel. I think the girls will know this manga a lot more than I do. It's I read that apparently it was like a gay manga where there was these 2 guys who knows each other. It's a spoiler. Don't like spoilers. You mute the stream now. You mute now. When I 2 thumbs up, I tell you unmute. Okay. It's a spoiler for this manga. I do not know what's the manga name. I forgot. Okay, but spoiler. Ready? Ready? Okay. Spoiler now. Mute yourself. I think this was how the manga ended. But basically, one of the dude drank like the night, like that one night with the other guy, and like they were joking, you know. The other guy was like saying, "Oh, what would you do for me?" and everything. And then they were like chatting about what they would do for each other. And then one of the guys say, "I mean, if you're also daring, then like if you really care about me, then I want to see you like die for me." And the sad thing was that the guy drank too much, and he did kill himself. That was the manga. I don't know what's this manga name, but yeah. Okay? Okay. Spoilers end. Spoilers end. Ready? Okay, spoilers ended. Yeah, but I saw this manga today on Facebook and I was like, oh, that's so sad. No. Wait. Hold on. Spoilers again. Mute if you don't want spoilers. Mute now. The guy did not die by alcohol poisoning. The guy died because he, like, himself. You get what I mean now? Okay, spoilers end. Yeah. Because he was drunk and he didn't know. Yeah. But anyways, about me being drunk, the reason why I love being drunk is because I forget all the pain in my life when I'm drunk. I love the feeling of it. But it's fucking unhealthy to be drunk. So I don't like drink all the time. But I mean, the alcohol in Laos was freaking cheap, so I took my chance at it. You get what I mean? So yeah, I was drinking in that room, and then no people didn't appear until 10, you know. So like, I went to visit other rooms so that I can drag people into the room. But I think I was already not watching myself to the point where I drank so much that while the room was packed with people, about like 10 people, 11 or 12 people, for the first time, this was what I meant when I said first time on Twitter. It was not the first time that I puked to alcohol. It was the first time I puked in front of people to alcohol. So I was fucking embarrassed because that had never happened in my life, and let alone people that I don't really like or that aren't really interested in me. So like, oh my god, I felt like shit. But you wanna know the good thing about me being drunk? I'm still conscious. So I kind of look a bit loser-like, but in my still conscious state, even though I puked on the floor and a lot of places, I don't know if I puked on the guy. I think I puked on one of the guy, but he didn't want to admit to me if I did. Whatever it is, I know I messed the floor up. So I didn't expect them to clean it up. Who cleaned it up? Guess who? Me. How? Well, I was drunk. That's how I am when I'm drunk. I'm not sane. I'm insane, but I'm conscious. That's the kind of drunk person that I am. I literally grabbed all the towels that I could. And I was like clearing my fucking puke on the floor. You know, I was cleaning the toilet, I was washing up. I apparently cut myself 3 times while cleaning up. And I don't know how. Yeah. But no one helped me like in the whole cleaning process. But I make sure I clean up the room. And the 2 people who owned the room, they told me, well, they slept soundly. There was no smell. Which I was like, okay, that's great. I mean, that was also where like the emotional roller coaster started to hit for me in the trip, because the guys, the boys of the trip were a lot nicer to me. In the next morning, a lot of them checked in on me. Yeah, exactly. This was where the split happened for me, that I started to like had a bit of a head scramble. The boys checked in on me the next morning. The girls looked really uncomfortable knowing about the incident. But that was where I start to like, but why are you sensitive about someone puking? Is someone puking not natural to you? Like, yeah, I'm fucking embarrassed, but it's not world changing that someone puked to alcohol, you get what I mean? Like, basically the girls didn't check out on me at that point in time. They didn't ask like what happened. They didn't check whether I'm like okay and everything. So no, I didn't say anything wrong when I'm drunk. I don't do that. I know what I say when I'm drunk, and I don't say stupid shit because I'm conscious. Yeah, my bros were bros basically, and the girls weren't. I'm not gonna say a rhyme, but yeah. I think the boys, they made the trip bearable. There are times that you don't know how girls think. I think did I try to find out why? Or did I try to find out why the girls didn't question? I honestly think they judged the incident. You know, I haven't figured it out yet, but I feel like it's just they were really sensitive about like a person losing to alcohol. It's like as if I'm the first ever person who they see who lost to alcohol. And even if I am, what's so wrong about it? You know, it's like the first time I learned what was my limit, really. In my 5 years of drinking, I never knew that, oh, that was my upper ceiling. Hey, sure thing, Arturo. So, yeah, that was the drinking incident. So, yeah, pretty embarrassed. But I learned from it. And I now know, okay, next time don't drink beyond this amount. And I can still be a fun person. There's a reason that the rhyme works. Oh no, I mean, if you know the rhyme, you keep the rhyme to yourself. When I start to clean my puke, you can conclude that I'm definitely drunk. No, I mean, yeah, sure, you can conclude from that I'm drunk, because drunk people will always puke. But when I'm drunk, I'm still myself, actually, when I'm drunk. I just start to be a bit more uncontrolled. At least I can keep in touch with the bros after the trip. Some of them. Yeah. Why do drunk people puke? Why do I think I puked in that moment? I don't think the alcohol got me to puke. I think the mixer got me to puke. Basically, when mixers are like things that you mix with the alcohol, so I put a lot of the fizzy stuff, and you know, it ejected out. No, and alcohol is poison, yes. If your body doesn't like the poison, it will also reject it out. It rejects it out because if it doesn't, why queuing to alcohol is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because your body is telling you this is the limit. If you keep it in your system, you might damage yourself. So yeah. Yep. So that's pretty much what I would put lor. But apart from that day of drinking, like the days before of drinking at a night market, drinking at uh in some of the other places, they were pretty okay. I enjoyed myself thoroughly to be drunk at a cheap price. So that's pretty much all the incidents that I will mention. My summary is Laos is a great place. People were not as fun to be around of. 10 out of 10 would drink again, except don't puke this time. I would love to meet the Laotian people again. And yeah. Do I get hungover? I don't know what hungover means actually. It's like you get grouchy or like you still lose it the next day, right? Oh, I got that feeling for the first time during the trip. Like literally you have a good night's rest and afterwards you wake up and you're like, where the fuck am I? Kind of feeling. Yeah. First time in my life that I had that feeling. Probably because I drank the most that I've ever gone before. Oh, I didn't have a headache. I just didn't know where I was. I was still a bit disoriented. Yeah. I have one more part about the last trip that I want to mention. And I will not do it this time. Why will I not do it this time? I'm not feeling up to it. I met a few Laotian kids who sang me a song. And I still do not know the meaning of this song. It's a 40-second clip. I will not play it now on stream. I will save it for a different stream. Why do I want to play the song on stream? They challenged me. They want me to sing the song. I don't know if the song has a bad meaning, but I was told the song is a song of a heartbreak. Like I was told it was a love song that meant heartbreak. That was all I was told. And I only remember hearing the first song. They only translated the first line to me, which the first line was like something about why do you keep lying to me? So yeah, the kids be trolling me. I don't know, but I'm gonna ask one of the guys to fully translate the song for me, on text because I have his contact. But I'll sing that on another stream, since I promised them I'll try it. Okay, we save that for another time. Okay, I think that's and most of all the stories that I will say about Laos. I hope you all enjoyed my story time of Laos. Any more questions though? I went from Laos to some deep topics to like, here's where I am. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for listening. I appreciate that. I wanted to. Oh, I know something for certain. Is anyone interested in karaoke streams? I have the mood to do karaoke. I went karaoke with my friends recently, and I received one of the nicest compliments I ever heard. That my friend told me that I improved so much from my younger years. Sounds like it would be funny AF. I don't think it's funny. I enjoy singing, genuinely. Well, ears bleed? No. But when I'm nervous, yeah. Especially when I'm nervous, I'm of course not tuned, but I think I'm fine. Not the best singer you ever hear, that's for certain. Like a cookie solo karaoke or a Discord call karaoke. Both can happen depending on how people are. Yeah. I am learning some songs. That's the reason why you see lyrics that are down here. Some of you will recognize this. I'm trying to learn Mephisto, which is from what's the anime name? Oshinoko. Yeah. Can I give you a little example? I don't know, I just like singing the song. Pretty much. Oh, I can't sing Idol. Idol is fucking hard. Sing Dame Dame. If I bother to pick up the lyrics. Oshinoko. Oh, I haven't watched Oshinoko ever since the first episode. Yeah. I prefer Mephisto of a song compared to what's the other song? Idol. Can we get a sneak peek? I can try. I hope I don't burn your ears. It's for stream to be honest to me. Any Arknight songs that I can see myself singing? No? There are songs that I know I will struggle with. You remember? I did. I cried to Oshinoko. Oh fuck! Oh no, I broke my 1 year of limit to crying. Okay, no. I rephrase. Crying for unreasonable reasons. Yes. Crying to anime because it's emotional? Absolutely warranted. That's different, okay? Gotta cry means gotta cry. Cause the show's good. I didn't cry to Oshinoko. I cried to Oshinoko first episode. By now, most people will know the episode. If you hate spoilers, you tune out now. And I'm gonna give the thumbs up. Again, if I put 2 thumbs up, means you unmute the stream. Okay? Okay, mute. Oshinoko spoilers. By now, most people will know that in the first episode, the final scene was I dying, basically, right? I didn't cry to I dying. I cried because I felt Ruby's pain. It's so fucking helpless. She's behind the fucking door. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Okay, that's all I'll say. Unmute. I'm a cry. Of course, I'm a crybaby. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very emotional person while still being a tough person at the same time. Yeah. It's quite a contradiction to say. Idol songs at the last few lyrics saying I love you is really the last. I know. I get the significance of the meaning of the song. But yeah. If you all recognize the song Mikazuki, I can give the song a try. I think. Mikazuki is the song that was sung by Sayuri. Let's see. Let's go with it. 今宵も上では綺麗な満月がキラキラ幸せそうに世界を照らしている。この私は出来損ないでどうしようもなくて夜明け夢見ては地べたはずに回ってるそれでも誰かに見つけて欲しくて夜空見上げて叫んでいる 逃げ出したいな、逃げ出せない。明るい未来は見えない。ねえ、それでもあなたに見つけて欲しくて、蝶のように舞い上がるの。かけた翼で飛んだ。醜い星の子三日月。Mikazuki. That's the song. I should find a way to do a full on karaoke stream for you guys. When I was much younger, I think I was a bit, not say tone deaf, but I don't have tone control. But now, I think I'm a bit better than at that. Go for the pitch. What does go for the pitch means? I do have a good voice. Oh, that's quite a way to say it. I found out. Okay, my friend was scolding me recently because Chinese songs tends to be very hard to sing. And then like they were playing songs that they thought were easy, and then I just dropped the bomb on my friend and I said, for my Chinese people, you will know the song Ji Hua Tai, and like my friends were all saying, because to me this is one of the easiest Chinese songs to sing. And they're like, what do you mean this is an easy song? I can go with this one. Let's see. You watch Shui's karaoke stream from time to time. Maybe I should join Shui one day, right? To sing as well. No, I'm not a big fan of Jay Chou. I'm just a big fan of singing. 你的泪光，柔弱中的 sorry，柔弱中的伤，yeah，柔弱中带伤，惨白的月光，yeah。I'm not gonna take off my headphones because I cannot hear myself properly. 惨白的月弯弯，勾住过往，夜太漫长，凝结成了霜。睡在阁楼上冰冷的绝望，雨轻轻弹，朱红色的窗，我一生。I need to redo the whole thing. I'm scrambling words. Okay, let's take this seriously. 啊，你的泪光，柔弱中对伤。惨白的月弯弯，勾住过往，夜太漫长，凝结成了霜。是谁在阁楼上冰冷的绝望？雨轻轻弹，朱红色的窗。我一生在纸上，被风吹乱，梦在远方，化成一缕香，随风飘散你的模样。菊花残满地伤，你的香泛黄。花落人断肠，我心事静静躺，北风乱也未央，你的指尖啊，my pitch，徒留我孤单在胡夜成荒。This is the hardest part of the song, but with a bit of control, I'll be fine. Why do you want to see me singing randomly? What's that? Daydream. Oh, my peaks when I go high pitch. That's interesting. Considered too high pitch apparently. Is it peaking at the really high parts? I think so. I need to turn off my gate in order to make it work. Both are Arknight song. Oh no! I'm not gonna do Daydream. I know what Daydream is now. Daydream is fucking hard. I mean, if I go for English songs, I probably won't struggle with lyrics as hard. Is there an English song that people want to hear? I recently do Radiant. No, I don't remember Radiant's lyrics. I don't remember Radiant's melody enough to do Radiant. I like how a lot of you are naming Arknight songs. Is there an Arknight song that I constantly listen to that has lyrics? I mean, I always listen to Dawn Seeker, but I don't remember Dawn Seeker's lyrics. Adele? Rolling in the deep, you have my heart inside. I cannot remember the full lyrics. It's been a oh, the Golden Age will return again is not like a proper. Okay, how do I describe Golden Age will return again? Um, like that song is a more sing along song rather than it's a single person singing the song. You know, remember, wait, remember, remember when the days were young. It bears future as bright as the sun. Oh, this is high. She whispers when the sails are. This is very high. She, she whispers and the sails are sing. Re, re. Remember when the days were young. It bears futures bright as the sun. She whispers when the sails ascend. The golden age will return again. The golden age will return again. Is it still peaking? Should I turn it off? Maybe I should turn off the noise cancel, but you all will hear wind. Wait, the morning sky wants of threatening seas. Years go by, won't forget our beliefs. And the storm we and the s- and the storm we must endure, my friend. Wow, such a tricky. This third word and the fourth word are always very high. Wow, that's a challenge. I have a point where I cannot pass. Yeah. When you hear me singing, you get PTSD of 80% dodge. What a weird say. See you, Station. Maybe next time I'll do a full blast karaoke stream. If you all enjoy that. If I mute now, I'll have silence. But I do understand that okay, maybe my microphone needs to be correct. Wasn't expecting me to sing that one. This song? If I slow down my singing, it'll be better. Because I'm still trying to catch how to sing. You know. It's not like I'm a singing coach or anything. But singing is something. Oh, Running in the Dark, I fucking love that song. Thanks for mentioning it. I was looking for this song in the karaoke room, I'm not gonna lie. Oh. Tell me if it's very windy. Let's see if this works. Is there a lot of noise? Is it very noisy? Or is it bearable? I still sound like myself. Like, I sound a little less condensed as compared to the usual one. It is a bit staticky. Bearable staticky. Okay. There's no time. There's no... Wait My issue with my voice is I have like these two ranges that don't connect. Like I have a high range and I have a low range, and then I cannot gel them together. There's like a missing octave or something in my voice. So that's why certain songs are fine by me, and then other songs I'm like, this might not be my thing. She said, I'm looking everywhere but I can't find you. I'm getting closer like it's right in front of me. Yeah, I can feel it but I cannot see you. I'm reaching out, reaching out. I could be dreaming but I feel so wide awake. A secret yearning that is deep inside of me. Yeah, I can feel you but I cannot see you. I'm reaching out, reaching out. Yeah, something along that line. The room echo is considerable. I can remove room echo. Thanks, Vicella. Is the room echo less now? With that setting?
2 centuries of subbing.
Wait. All the pretty sinners, all the metal. Like, if I want to go by the high octave, let me see. All the pretty... all... Wait, high octave is a lot harder. No, I cannot. Yeah, I have to sing this low. It's very bad. There's no time for what was left. Like, yeah, the problem if I go very low is then I have another octave I cannot conquer at the bottom. There's no time for what was left behind. Like, yeah, I cannot, you see, I cannot reach left behind. It's a maiden voyage after all. Cannot. You see, there's no melody to that. All the pretty sinners, all the mellow winners. Like, this is too dull of a singing. Overachievers aiming for their prize. I can feel it coming, don't know why. Wait, I'm gonna mute myself. Let me listen to myself for a while. I struggle with this. There's no time for what was left behind. It's a maiden voyage after all. All the pretty sinners, all the medal winners, overachievers aiming for their prize. I can feel it coming, don't know why you're running in the dark. She said, I'm looking everywhere but I can't find you. I'm getting closer like it's right in front of me. Yeah, I can feel it. No, you see, I cannot hit a certain note. Yeah. Feel you but I cannot see you. I'm reaching out, reaching up. See, it's too high for me to hit. There's a song that I can sing that, like, when it goes high, is just okay for me. You know, yeah, I struggle with very high octaves. Lately I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Say no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, we'll be counting stars. I see this life like a swinging vine, swing my heart across the line, and in my face is flash signs. Seek it out and you shall find. Oh, but I'm not that old, young, but I'm not that bold, and I don't think the world is sold. I'm just doing what I'm told. I feel something so right, doing the wrong thing. And I feel something so wrong, doing the right thing. I could lie, could lie, could lie. Everything that kills me makes me feel alive. I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Say no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Lately I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Say no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Yeah, cannot hit it fully, but yeah. Love the song. It's like the first time that I choose to karaoke for you guys. But that's just because I love singing. So I don't know if I should do more karaoke streams. Maybe I should. I had to duet my brother. You can hear my brother singing. He's a singer as well. He's singing in his room at the moment. Jealous of my vocal range. My vocal range is not that strong as compared to a lot of usual singers. Yeah, you thought you heard someone else singing. Yes, there you go. Because I turned off my sound, so that's why you can hear someone else. I feel love and I feel it burn down this river every turn. Hope is a four-letter word. Make that money, watch it burn. Oh, but I'm not that old, young, but I'm not that bold, and I don't think the world's sold. I'm just doing what we're told. And I feel something so wrong, doing the right thing. I could lie, could lie, could lie. Everything that drowns me makes me wanna fly. I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Say no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Lately I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Say no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Oh my gosh. Oosh. Can I sing Bruno Mars When I Was Your Man? I don't remember what When I Was Man sound like. I like singing Grenade. I think I like singing Grenade. I could be wrong. Easy come, easy go. That's just how you live. Oh, take it all, but you never give. Should've known it was trouble from the first kiss. Had your eyes wide open. Why were they open? Gave you all I had. You tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash. You did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is I catch a grenade for you. Throw my hand on a blade for you. I drum in front of a train for you. You know I'd do anything for you. Oh, I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby. But you won't do the same. I don't know if I know what. No, isn't Cupid that meme song? No, not the I'm feeling lonely shit. Oh my god. No! I hate that song, it gets my head. Does it not get in your head? I hate it because of freaking Sentinels 11s and his fucking meme format. And the fact that he keeps reusing the same goddamn song. Oh my gosh. But I don't I'm gonna struggle with the Korean lyrics, so I have no idea. I can go with one more song before I actually drop into an AK stream. Because I did say I'm going to do an AK stream, and I probably can take another hour for an AK stream. I intend to watch the JP live stream before I go to bed. So, yeah, this song is hard to get through. Like, I'm still in the pace of learning it and trying to pick it up. But yeah, do I listen to Coldplay songs? I forgot which song of Coldplay do I like to sing. It's most like, no, it's not, is it Higher? Is there a song called Higher by Coldplay? No, it's not Higher Power. I'm feeling drunk and high, so high, so high. Oh, I'm feeling drunk and high, so high, so high. Oh, angel sent, oh, angel sent from up above. You know you make my world light up. When I was down and I was hurt, you came to lift me. Well, yeah, this is the challenge of Coldplay, because Coldplay has a lot of this, you know, where the note goes very high. You say, drink from me when I was so thirsty from the symphony. I just can't get enough. Put your wings on me when I was so heavy from the symphony. Yes, it's a great song. Try Mephisto. If I go with Mephisto, where the hell is it? It's right here. Last chance ni ue to my. Wait, my problem with Mephisto is some word slurs, like they connect a bit too close. So I have to sing this very slowly. Last chance ni ue ta tsumasaki ga. ラストチャンスに植えたつま先が踊り出すままかけたこの夜空波のスタンスじゃなびかない星は宝石の憧れ浮かぶ涙と汗は血の名残目の中でしか泳げなきゃ芝居だけどステージが逃がさないいつまでも焦れている生まれつきたての底なし誰と生きたか思い出して私が命をかけるからあげるからあなたは時間をくれたのでしょうあらゆる望みのすべてを叶えたら果たせたらあなたに会いたい星に願いをかけてSomething along that line. I love this song. Fucking beautiful song. But it's like a song that I really want to practice. You know, I was so impressed with how Queen Bee managed to really keep up with that, like, octave change each time. Like, it was just fascinating to do it within the same line, where you just go very high, very low in the same note. But yeah. あなたに命が戻るなら届くなら私はどうなるな Yeah, see, this line is confusing. 私はどうなろうと構わないのにどうやらすべては叶わない 叶わないならばあなたになりたい星はだけ光る私が命をかける私が命をかけるからあげるからあなたは時間をくれたのでしょうあらゆる望みのすべてを叶えたら果たせたらあなたに会いたい Yeah, so challenging of a song, but it's fun. さあ星の子たちよさあ星の子たちよ What is how does he say this? さあ星の子たちよよくを眠りなさい輝きはねWow, this fucking hard. 輝きは鈍らないあなたたちならばさあ星の子たちよよく狙いなさい瞬きを許さないあなたたちならば Wow, I fucking hate this song. Wow, so hard. Okay, final call. Any song that you want me to sing as a tryout? But yeah, the song's relatively new, so I'm still learning. Last time when I was a lot younger, I used to sing a lot of Vocaloid. Not exactly Vocaloid, but like, anyone remember Kagero Project? I freaking love Kagero Project songs when I was younger. What is Night Dancer? Am I supposed to learn Baka Mitai's lyrics now? It's not like I remember Baka Mitai's actual lyrics. I cannot remember what it sounds like. Wait, no, I can. Baka mitai kodomo nano. Wait. Baka mitai kodomo nano. Baka mitai kodomo. Oh, baka mitai kodomo na. Wait, it doesn't sound right. Is this lyrics shortened? What is this? Like, I'm trying to read the line. It doesn't sound correct. Wait, give me a better one. Ah, yeah, this more correct. Baka mitai honto to. What? Wait, yeah, my brain cannot process where the "oo" comes from. It feels like there's a "wa" here, but I might be hallucinating. 信じるばかりで Yeah, my brain cannot process. That's verse. Oh, the verse. Oh, wait. Oh my god, Cookie is so pega. ダメだね、ダメよ、ダメなのよ。あんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ強いお酒でも歪まない思い出がバカみたい Oh my god, I'm learning the lyrics for the first time ever in my fucking life. I like how I read the verse and not the chorus and I'm like, why does the verse not sound like a chorus? My universe is so big that it generates gravity. Oh shit, Gravity is a song that I personally like. Favorite Kagero Project song? Oh, that's tough. It might be Kano's song. I cannot remember the name. Yosabu. Wait. Yeah, I cannot remember the name. I know it starts with the word yo. You're busy laughing to inform me that I was singing the wrong part. And then you watch me struggle. How dare you watch someone suffering? This is the reason why people watch Twitch streams. Is it called Deceiver? I remember. Not that I could sing every single Kagero Project song. There is only one song in Kagero Project that I was very comfortable with, which was Anato song. Ayano song. What the frick is? Who the fuck is Anato? Yeah. Akane Where is it? Yeah. Akane iro somete hajimeyo chisana hiro no furi da kedo sukoshi demo mata waraetara de kyou mo kazoku de ii yo 幸せを願おう先にある未来がどれだけ悲しくてもこのことは秘密だよ楽しくて日が沈んだ Oh, I have to remember the fact that your name is Kido, and of course you would be inclined to listen to Kagero Project. Yobanashi Deceive is, yeah, that's the name of the song. It's too fast for me to sing. I'm not good at singing fast songs, but I would love to be good at singing fast songs. That doesn't work with English songs. That doesn't work with Japanese songs. That is, like Japanese songs, imagine the scramble, you know? Like one of the songs that I wish I understood how to to sing was In the Back Room. But this song is so damn hard, you know? Those Chainsaw Man watchers will know what I'm referring to. ジャンクで汚れたこの声でうるせがいを黙らす What the fuck? うるせがいをガヤを What? うるせガヤを黙らせるあんたがとやかく言わずともこちら側から繰り込んでやる弱な役らかとさ What is this? 弱な役らかと What? 弱な役らかと叫す Doesn't sound right 弱な役らかと奴らの思考の外に出る愛だかなんだか知らねえが望み通り深く落ちてやるんだ Yeah I should listen to it. There's a new Kido song. Wait, Kagero Project is still a thing? No way. I thought it was done. It came back. I know that guy like Jin still posts some songs when he feel like it. You know. Okay, I'll go and listen to it. Cause I mean I love Kagero. I think people hated the anime, Mekaku City, but I appreciated it. It was weirdly, how do I describe? It's not meaningful. Meaningful is the wrong word. I thought a lot about the way that it was animated. Like, on one hand, people will say the anime is shit, but on the other hand, I thought of it as it's an interpretation. An interpretation that you should find your way to understand through the madness of bad artwork. Yeah. It's like, why does Annie look so weird all the time? But I thought of it as symbolic. Yeah. This line though. Jaku na yakuraka to sagesunda Yatsura no shiko no soto ni de Okay, let me try to go faster. Jankune dugorete kono koe de urusei gaia wo damaraseru anta ga toyakaku iwazu to mo kochira gawa ga na kurikonde yaru jaku na yakura ka to sagesunda yatsura no shiko no soto ni there's a u here. Yatsura no shiko no soto ni deru, yaida ka nanda ka shirane ga nozoru. Like, things about Japanese songs. Sometimes they emphasize this, like an N and a U. Sometimes they choose not to, and you have to stretch. So it's like ko or nan. But then if they choose to hold it, it becomes a na. My issues with Jap songs. Yeah, but that's pretty much all the singing that I'll do. So maybe next time I'll do a karaoke song. But how do people usually do karaoke streams though? Don't they usually have like a melody that they play in the background in order to like fulfill a karaoke stream? And then they have to follow the melody. Lisa covers. I do hope to one day screen share YouTube and sing. Here comes the wind because I turned on my fan. Hot at the moment. Yeah. What I mean, singing to me is also a therapy. It's like a different therapy from being drunk. One day I hope to be good at it. I did ever consider taking up singing classes if I actually felt like it, but not at the current point in time. There's a lot of things that I wish I could do in life, but yeah. Okay, shall we go to art nights? I let you all know one day. At least if there's some people who don't mind hearing out some karaoke time, I let you all be. And I don't mind opening the floor for requests. That will help me to train my singing. You know, do more karaoke streams so that I sing until I'm actually good one fine day. I did ever consider, because when during my time of going to the US, I will be what was that? I will be going to a recording studio. Yeah. And I was like actually thinking, should I have some fun and choose to like randomly sing there? Yeah. So who knows? I'm going to Isaac Wolf's recording studio, which he made songs for Unreal Dreamer, and I think Unreal Dreamer sang. So I'll consider if Isaac Wolf want to collab with me and then force me to sing something, you know, while I'm there. You sleep 2 a.m. not tired at all. You can use my stream to sleep. My stream puts people to sleep, and that's a good thing. I don't mind putting people to sleep because that means somehow there's therapy. Yeah. But there's thanks for the raid. Welcome. Okay. I want to split my stream apart. So my loud story time, my drinking stories, my deep talks, like whatever that we've done in this stream. Let's keep it as it is. I'm going to end the stream here and I'm going to start it in literally a second later. Alright? We flipped into an art night stream. Let's watch the JP live stream, which I didn't get to watch the previous day.